Wow, they didn't know.
That's pure.
Yeah.
With Cody. Thank you very much.
Are you going all the way back there, Doc? Feeling that I just sit there, whoa, there I go. Maybe they need to bring that Yeah, that's prize. I was just, did you like your prize? I was just thinking.
Yeah.
I think that would be nice. Have you tried it yet? I like throwing it in the freezer. That's why I leave it as in the freezer. Nice, ice cold.
Yeah.
Good morning, Joe. When you sneak in.
20 minutes. About a half an hour ago.
I think everybody knows better than that.
Apparently, he did a good job sneaking in, too.
Yeah. He kind of came in with somebody else and the other person split off.
Right under my nose.
Oh, today's your Dodson's birthday.
Oh.
Wow. Ridiculous.
I know, I think so too.
I guess this is the day I can get out.
Let me know when you're up and running, Madam Clerk.
Already.
Okay, please, gentlemen, please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Cheryl, we're all here today. Approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any additions?
I make a motion.
No. No, I got some. I got a deletion and an add-on. The deletion is the appointment of James Madison to the McCall board. That's to be removed today. Remove it. And under old business, we've got old business is the recount there under a FOIA request. And with that, I'll entertain motions to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'll support.
We have a motion, we have a second, any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote, all in favor, say yes.
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 Nays, motion carried. Approval of the minutes from August 15th, 2024.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from August.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second, any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Nays, motion carried. Claims and accounts, Gary?
In the finance, we did our claims and accounts, and our claims came in at $24,658.96. Our EFTs come in at $473,137.03. The districts came in at $9,631.78 for a total of $507,427.77. And I make a motion that we accept the claims and accounts.
And I'll second his motion. Now, is there any discussion on the bills? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Gerard,
Yes.
Peltier,
Yeah.
Harding,
Yeah.
Bolster,
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes, motion carried. Public comment, agenda items only. Public comment, agenda items only. Yes, ma'am.
A public comment that was regarding me was failed to be mentioned on the meeting minutes that you just approved. It's not listed in your public comment. All the other public comments for that day were listed except for the female that spoke about me.
I'm not following you. Did you want to add something? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there was a public comment at the end of last meeting. And it's not listed on your public comment in your meeting minutes.
You have, tell me what that was.
Mrs. Klotz stood up and said that I had embezzled from the Alpena Algona Area Credit Union, and that was not listed in your meeting minutes. So it needs to be recorded.
I did. I don't,
I didn't want to speak during your discussion of the meeting minutes, but
huh?
They've already been passed. We've already passed them.
Yeah, we already passed it and stuff. That was, is that something we normally put in there? I don't know.
only asking because the other three public comments were listed and that one wasn't.
Right, because I'm so appalled that it shouldn't have never been in there.
I don't know, I just read the minutes.
Well, I don't, that's,
It's listed now. How about that, Don?
well, we're gonna add it to the approved minutes, is that?
No, it's listed right now with your today's meeting.
Okay, well, this,
Okay, that's fine.
Will that work?
that'd be fine.
That's fine. This is.
All right, anything else? Okay. On the comments, new business, the NEMSCA annual report, everyone should got a copy of that. And we have someone here for it? Yes, ma'am, you're up.
Thank you. So thank you for allowing me to present today. Before I get started, I actually have a special guest that I wanted to introduce to the board so that she can talk a little bit about her division and how that works under the NEMSCA umbrella. So if it's okay, Lori Sauer is our Region 9 Area Agency on Aging Director. If it's okay for her to talk for a couple minutes about her division. Is that okay? Yeah, okay, perfect.
Hi.
Lori, before you get started, can you spell your name for me, please?
First name is Laurie and the last name is Sauer. Okay. I've been with the agency almost 30 years now, hard to believe, 28 next month. So I've been around for a little bit. The Area Agency on Aging that we operate at NEMSCA covers 12 counties. Montmorency County is one of those counties. We go all the way up to the bridge and south over to Standish and everything east of I-27 actually. We're the second largest AAA in the state in terms of geography, but we're one of the smaller ones in terms of population. So our funding is a little bit smaller than what you'll see in other areas of the state, but essentially what we do is we are charged with developing and implementing programs and services that will benefit older adults throughout the region. So we work very, very closely with our councils and commissions on aging throughout the 12 counties to bring those services to you. A common misunderstanding, though, that we find, and that's one of the reasons why Fran has kind of asked me to go on these meetings with her to explain, is we don't actually oversee the entire COA operation. We work in tandem with them in bringing certain services to the communities. So things like your congregate and home delivered meal programs, your in-home services, some of the wellness and prevention types of programmings, we work in a collaborative type of arrangement. We are one of their funders. We provide some funding for those services. And basically the millage dollars serve as the required match for those services, which helps us to be able to bring more services than what the AAA funding would normally bring. So about a month and a half ago, you received a copy of our annual plan that we submit to the state for approval in order to operate as a AAA. And so you have probably, if you read it, a pretty good idea of some of the things that we do in terms of our programming. But we also do a lot of advocating with legislators so that we can keep those dollars flowing into our little small section of the state. So I don't know if anyone has any questions related to the AAA or what we do.
Yeah, I'm on the McCall board, and it seems it seems like everything we want to do, we have to contact you in certain areas. As far as I know the congregate meals and stuff, but there's some things that have been brought up as far as like in Lewiston now, we instead of Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, like the other Atlanta and Hillman, their day off is Wednesday. And I asked that question, why? Well, it made no sense because they've got bingo or something on Fridays.
No, on Wednesday. Yeah, bingo on Wednesday in Lewiston.
During the day.
It starts at like 5. So that's probably why they don't serve it on Wednesday.
Well, that we want some continuity there with staff and stuff and flipping them around. That's a problem. So the question is, could we change that? Could the board change that?
Because we receive state and federal dollars and we have to follow standards that are put out by the State Unit on Aging, there are procedures that have to be followed when there are changes to the programs that are funded through the state. So, you know, as long as they're following the procedures, and the AAA does have to approve those changes because we have to funnel it through the state, those things do have to happen. It does bog up the system a little bit sometimes when changes want to be made, but it's because we have to report to the state, and they like to keep track of where the services are providing and days and times and all of that sort of thing.
Right. But it is an issue for the staff.
Yeah.
And the other question for anyone who wants to know, Monday through Thursday, the 3 centers currently serve meals in the afternoon. Out in Lewiston, they do it 5 days a week. So if you want a hot meal on Friday, you can go to Lewiston and go have your dinner there. If you don't want to eat a cold dinner or something, that's possible. I didn't know that. I just found that out myself.
No. Yeah.
No, I didn't want anything else. Anybody else has got anything? I guess not. Thank you.
Well, I'm here for a while. Would you?
All right.
Thank you, Lori. So I wanted just to spend a few minutes to go over NEMSCA's annual report. I believe when I was driving here, this is my 7th year presenting the annual report. So thank you for allowing me to keep coming back and talk about the awesome things our agency has done in the last fiscal year. So when you open up the annual report, you'll see a message from our executive director, Lisa Bolin. And she is basically highlighting and talking about some of the accomplishments, but also giving a shout out to our community partners, including yourself as elected officials. Just as a reminder, Lori talked about the AAA and how it is as far as size when it comes to the state of Michigan. Well, you know that we're your community action agency here in Montmorency County. We've been around since 1968. We are the largest community action agency geographically in the state of Michigan out of 27. And there are over 1,000 community action agencies across the nation providing similar services just like NEMSCA. On the bottom of the page 2, underneath the picture of Lisa Bolin, is our mission. And I always like to highlight that because that's why I'm here today. I believe in the mission of enhancing quality of life by empowering individuals and strengthening communities. And it's not without the help of our community partners and coordinating the efforts of providing services to people in need, we wouldn't be able to accomplish that mission. So I always like to kind of bring that back to the focus of why I'm here today. To the right are a couple maps, of course. I talked about our coverage area being quite large geographically. The top map is the northeast quarter, of course, of the Lower Peninsula of our wonderful state of Michigan. And you'll see that, of course, Montmorency County is one of those. And essentially what that map shows is that each one of those counties that's covered in that lighter shade of blue, the 11, is what we call our core counties. So that means that we are your community action agency. You'll see Roscommon, the darker shade with the asterisk on it, means that we share it with Northwest out of Traverse City. So some programs we provide there are from us and some are from Northwest. The map below that shows the extended coverage area, and those counties typically are the Head Start preschool program that we touch into 21 counties for Michigan with Head Start. Under the services provided, that's a list of how we basically break up some of our programs, and you'll see that the top one, Area Agency on Aging, is the one that Lori was referring to, but there's also care management, which falls under her division as well. So basically, any program essentially, minus the volunteer programs that are geared towards our seniors, is under Lori's umbrella here. So it's very important and awesome that she's here today to talk about that before I got started. The next page is our page dedicated to our wonderful board. So as a reminder, I think I bring this up every year, but what makes community action agency boards so unique and actually pretty amazing is that we are a tripartite board, meaning that 1/3 of our board consists of elected officials. Historically, that's always been county commissioners. So we've always had a Montmorency County Commissioner on our board. And we've had Commissioner Peltier on our board for, I don't know, 2 years now. And so just a thank you to you for being an active board member. I know that you're a big advocate of ours and appreciate the fact that you serve on our board. So looking forward to hopefully some more years on our board as well. But the other 2/3 of our board, one is private citizens, and the final is what we call our consumer sector. And this is what makes us unique, is that we have 1/3 of our board that are either low income or represent low income populations. And it's very important to have that on our board to basically have their voice heard when it comes to our agency programs and operations and things like that. To the right is our financial overview. You'll see the top graph shows how we're funded. So for last fiscal year of 2013, we were just over 61% federally funded, just over 36% state funded, and the remaining is local or in kind. And the graph below that shows basically the expenditures or how much funding is pushed out in our programs. Letter A, you can see on that map very clearly that that's our biggest division, which is our Early Childhood Services program, which consists of Early Head Start, which provides programs and support and services to pregnant moms all the way up to kiddos that are age 3. And then we also have Great Start Readiness and Head Start preschool programs. You'll see below that there's the list of the budget that's community-based care, which falls under Lori's umbrella. Some community programs that are kind of our label for things like weatherization and homeless and prevention services and things like that. Aging again under Lori, and then our youth services and volunteer services and community and development. You'll see letter H coincides with the 96% at the bottom right corner. That's something that we're always very proud of as an agency. And essentially what that means is that 3.94%, or just under 4%, however you want to look at it, is what we call our indirect rate, which is the administrative overhead. So that basically means that 96 cents of every dollar that comes to us goes right back out in a program formula, so that all of 96 cents goes back out into the community. We're always very proud of that. When you take that rate next to other community action agencies, or even other nonprofit agencies, ours is usually pretty much the lowest that we've seen. I think the average, the last I heard, might be about 10%. So pretty cool about that. Next page, on page 6, gives the numbers, right? This is when I go out to all my data gurus across the agency and ask for them to report back these numbers so I can put it in the annual report. And it always blows me away every year when I put the annual report together, the amount of impact we truly do have in our communities. So you can see that there's just a few that have been highlighted. 2,812 children receive services in our childhood programs. Over 33,000 food boxes were delivered. 344 people that were homeless on the street received support from us. 527,129 meals were provided to homebound seniors. 2,000 seniors maintained independent living. Just over 3,700 youth enhanced their academic careers, and so on and so forth. And it's very important to have that information, especially when we're talking to our elected officials and our funding sources to show the great impact we've had. But sometimes when we pull those numbers, it's really easy to forget that each of those numbers actually can indicate a person or a life that we touched. So on the right side, that's where I usually pull in 2 to 3 stories with pictures to show. For example, Eric's journey on the right is one of the 344 numbers, right, that I just reported on, but he's only one of those 344. And you see the picture of Eric before and after. Before, when he was homeless and he reached out for support with us, and then after, when he looks really proud in his new place. Last time I heard, he's employed now, he has a stable home, and he has rekindled his relationship with his family because he's more secure and feeling more empowered, right? Because we've been able to help him. And then you can see some of the other stories below. The next page gives some highlights of some of the exciting things that has happened in the last fiscal year that I'm reporting on. The top picture is some of our staff and our clients/volunteers that were honored at the state level down in Lansing at the Capitol. Below that is a new early childhood center that was opened up in the very beginning of fiscal year 23 in Tawa City. And to the right, there's a highlight of a new resource that was added to our agency that's available to community members that gives caregiver support, which is called True Alta, and there's no cost for anybody to use that. It's a really cool resource that we hope is getting pushed out to the community to add that support to those caregivers.
Yeah,
So,
what does that constitute?
the True Alta, I'm gonna have Lori talk on that because that's under
Yeah.
her umbrella.
It's an online platform that people can access to get all kinds of information
Okay, but
related
it's
to
not
caregiving.
physical people going to their house.
No.
Okay, all right, that was my
Yeah,
question. Thank
thanks for
you.
the question. And then there's some pictures of some conferences and trainings our staff has had in the last year as well. On the final page, we have a couple of pictures. If you remember, like I said, I've had the opportunity to come and present to this board before. And one of the things that we're very proud of is that we've been honored multiple times to receive the Top Workplace Award, which is a state award through the Detroit Free Press. And so you see this is a picture of all of us except for Lori that went down there to accept that award last fall. And then you'll see a picture of Dorothy Pintar, who is our community programs director, but she also is our school success program director, and she's receiving an award by the governor last fall as well to highlight the success the school success program has had in the last 30 years that we've been providing it in our coverage area. So like I said, thank you so much for allowing me to present the report. If you have any questions or comments, I can stick around for a little bit, but thank you again. And thanks again for Commissioner Pelletier for being on our board.
What is this picture?
Yeah, well, oh, you know
It's
what?
in there.
Next year, we might be on the front. We'll see.
Can I ask you to make 2 comments?
Yes,
The first one's on the food, our box food program.
yes.
That's ending this month.
Okay, so under the NEMSCA umbrella, the last month we provided the food commodities was the end of July. And then after July, it transitioned. So August, it transitioned to the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan, and they are the ones that are handling the commodities that were the monthly for seniors, and then also the TFAP, which is the quarterly for low income. So that's no longer under the NEMSCA umbrella, correct?
Yeah, we're not gonna have no box food going out. NEMSCA, the
Correct.
warehouse is shut down.
Correct. Well, the warehouse is, yes, almost completely shut down now. Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
And then the next thing is the pace that we have incorporating into NEMSCA.
Yes. You want me to talk a little bit about that?
Please.
Okay, Lori, you might have to help me.
Yeah.
So NEMSCA is one of the partners. There's also another partner that's called Presbyterian Villages from the southern part. And we partnered together so that we could provide funding for the startup of the PACE program, and PACE stands for,
Program of All-Inclusive Care for the
I'm
Elderly.
so glad she's here today. And so we're going to actually have a physical location site in Alpena that will cover multiple zip codes, not just Alpena County. And we'll be providing what for people?
Well, PACE is actually a health plan for older adults, and it is also a long-term care option for older adults. So all of the care that an older adult, should they choose to sign up for this program and qualify, there is eligibility criteria. All of their services would be covered within that program. So whether they need acute, physician, hospital, radiology, pharmacy, anything, long-term care, they would be provided by the PACE Center. The unique thing about a PACE Center is there is an adult daycare that is part of it. So folks would come to the adult day center to receive their medical services. They would receive meals there. They have activities. It's a really neat concept that started out in California long ago. Community based care, built from the ground up from folks in the community. And it's catching on all across the state. So we're pleased that we're able to offer yet another option for 5 counties. This particular PACE program will cover roughly 5 counties of the 12 that we serve. And there will be some expansion from other PACE centers that will also cover part of our service area. But again, just another unique option that folks will have when they're at that point of needing long-term care services.
Where is that center gonna be?
The old People's Building in Alpena.
Oh,
They started working on it maybe like a few weeks
Yeah,
ago.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is Montmorency County one of the 5?
Yes, it is.
And can you highlight what the qualifications
You don't want it.
or what the criteria to qualify for that is?
Well, it's a blended service of Medicare benefits and Medicaid. Typically, most individuals that qualify or seek out this program are dual eligible for Medicare and Medicaid. So for the Medicaid portion, there is, of course, a financial eligibility. It's an expanded benefit or expanded benefit. So you can have a bit of a higher income in order to qualify for long-term care, much like our My Choice Waiver program. The eligibility, though, functionally, you have to meet a nursing facility level of care. So there are 8 doors, if you will, that's how the state refers to them, that a person would need to qualify under one of those doors in order to qualify for long-term care. Whether you go in a nursing home, whether you're in the My Choice program, or now whether you're in a PACE program, you would have to meet that level of care.
Thank you.
You talked about the food bank taking over the program. Just so you know, the Eastern Food Bank is actually going to be opening a warehouse in Gaylord. I know right now they're based in Flint, but they are looking at purchasing a place in Gaylord and will be opening a great place there.
You have to sign up for that, I take it? No? Yes?
For the food distributions?
For the food distributions, but when the food bank gets up here, there's also usually the warehouse like in Flint, you can just go to the warehouse and get things, but they're supposed to be opening the warehouse up here.
Yes, sir.
Lori or Fran, are there any programs that you offer that we're not taking advantage of? Or are we missing something that we could enroll in or take advantage of?
My feeling is that it could be, I feel like there's probably plenty of people in the community that are not familiar with all of our programs, so.
So it's communication of your programs that you might offer.
Who are the 5 of the 12 counties? Who are the 5 counties?
That would be Alpena, Presqu'Île, Alcona, Montmorency, and a portion of Iosco.
Anything?
We have an executive director on staff. That's
Yeah.
the executive director over PACE. And he, like I said, I'm sure if anybody had any questions and as it gets closer to the services being offered and being opened up, I'm sure he would be willing to present any information that anybody would.
This is relatively new in our area. It's just forming up and getting its feet on the ground. but the potential that I've seen and the reason why I asked you to say something about it is there's so much more potential in this, especially for the aged adults. I've never seen that before. And daycare for the elderly, that's going to be huge, absolutely huge. A lot of people, a lot of children who are taking care of their parents and still have to work. They need help like this, and this is really big. So I thank you both very, very much for expanding and talking about the PACE program. I look forward to seeing a lot more with this PACE program through NIMSCA.
Can just a note to tap on to your comment about daycare. There have been 5 adult daycare centers operating within our 12-county region for a number of years. So PACE is a little bit different. PACE is a lot different. It's a larger program, much larger program. It is a health plan. So all of your Medicare services and all of your Medicaid services would be provided under that umbrella. So there'll be a physician on staff and other medical staff that they'll have available for that center.
Yes.
Cheryl.
Just 2 things. Do you have an extra copy of your report?
Yes.
And would you give me the name again? You're saying PACE, like PACE, is that?
Yes, that's the acronym.
Okay, and so what again is the actual name of that?
Program of all-inclusive care for the elderly.
Thank you.
Now, is this program, I believe the health department had one, like elderly daycare at one point, quite a few years ago in Alpena. Is it gonna be like the same?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Platform?
your question. I was answering another one.
In Alpena, I believe it was at the health department, they used to have like an elderly daycare.
Yes,
Is it like the same program?
it's not the same program, but that
It's
would be the
based
daycare
like
component.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
this is bigger than that. Because all of your medical services would be provided at that facility as well.
Okay,
The adult day program that Alpena had was just the day center program.
okay. And can we go online and read about the program?
Absolutely.
Is it up now?
There is a page on the NIMSCA website. If you go to NIMSCA and go under services or programs, there is one page that just gives a summary of the PACE program. But I believe our executive director, Jeff Meaden, who's overseeing the PACE program's contact information is on there.
Yeah.
And then once we get closer to it, then they'll have their own website. So it's just more of like a summary right now.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, I thank both of you very, very much. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing you, well, thank you very much for your presentation. It was quite interesting. Next item, we had one has been removed, and we'll go down to the EDC funding. Lisa McComb.
Line up. Oops. Thank you for having me. I'm gonna hand this out to you guys, and then I'll also allow extras to be left. And for the public, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'll circulate them after. Thanks. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for having me. I'm the executive director with Otsego County Economic Alliance, and we as communities here in Northeast Michigan are considered through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation as Region 3. They, in the beginning of the year, provided opportunities for regional coverage for entrepreneurship. And we ourselves and Alpena Target applied for grant funding to help our entire region. And so our services that we received or funding for through the SBDC is 6 counties: Otsego, Montmorency, Roscommon, Oscoda, Ogama, and Crawford. And as Montmorency County, The benefits from this that we administer are free. So in here is what's called the Small Business Support Hub Program information. And that's available to any business owner in Montmorency County. And we're asking for your help for us to help get the word out. It's free, it's confidential, and there's 3 components to it. The first of it, if you open the inside, the first allowed us to actually hire an SBDC consultant, Small Business Development Center consultant, to be able to work with entrepreneurs throughout those 6 counties. So if you have businesses here who are small businesses, so less than say 20 employees, if they need any help in keeping their business going, expanding their business, attracting workforce, anything, you name it, Tammy Dupuy, who you'll see her picture here, is the SBDC representative. She basically works out of her car. So she can meet them at their business, she can Zoom with them, she can phone call in, she can meet at locations such as this to help businesses and provide resources. So I often get asked, well, what would somebody get help with? If you're a business and we have a lot of hidden plain sight businesses in our communities, excavators, lawn care businesses, childcare, people working out of their homes where you don't necessarily see them, but they need help and they don't have time to get help. If they're looking to expand and maybe buy a piece of equipment, they're trying to go get a loan, the bank requires a business plan, they don't know how to write a business plan, we can help. Or maybe they need projections for their business, we can help. Or maybe they need somebody to help them look at, how do I afford to hire another person in the next year? Or a lot of times what we're finding is they're family businesses and it's succession planning. The kids don't want the business and they need to sell the business. How do I do that? A lot of resources, all free, all available. It was funded through ARPA funds, so through federal funds. So the program will be done in September of 2026. So we have a great resource that we want people to be aware of to get out to our businesses to help them succeed. The other 2 components are, we're going to start relaunch, actually, we tried to do it before and then COVID hit. The SCORE program. Are people familiar with what SCORE is?
No.
Okay. SCORE used to stand for Senior Corps of Retired Executives. So people who had defined, detailed business experience that would volunteer and get out and help our local businesses as well, free as well. It's no longer just senior executives. It can be anybody who's got time with a qualification that they want to provide. Maybe somebody owned a restaurant and they want to give back to the community, or someone wants to help with accounting. We're trying to get volunteers who have some extra time and want to work with businesses in your community to volunteer through the SCORE program. It's maybe 10 hours a month. And what happens is if I'm a business and I go to score.org and I say, I'm a tool and die shop and I need some help about maybe what kind of equipment to look at. If in the system, there is no one from your county, they're going to put you in touch with somebody in Detroit or Grand Rapids or whatever. So we're really trying to get the word out that if you're interested, you have some extra time, you want to help some businesses, let us know. We can help you get signed up through SCORE. And then again, it used to be that you would meet with them in person, all confidential, but now you can meet with them, whatever works. It's convenient. And that changed after COVID. The other component of this is we also got funding, about $436,000 to be deployed in small grants to our local businesses in each county. So we're right now, one of the requirements for us is that we had to develop criteria that shows the state that when we're providing funding for businesses, that it's going to help them succeed. Unfortunately, what happened during COVID, and we got funding again and worked with Montmorency County and got funding out for our small businesses. Some of those businesses unfortunately took the money and didn't use it the way it was supposed to, and they closed. So we have to make sure that We develop criteria and requirements like workshops or trainings in advance of applying. And then we will ask for representatives from Montmorency County to look at those applications and then award the funding. Can be up to $12,000 or $20,000 per grant. You could decide as a community and a county, hey, we'd like to make more impact and maybe do $5,000 grants. It's up to you and you'll have input in that. We're gonna develop the criteria in the beginning of 2025. Probably have trainings next summer and then deploy everything in the fall. So you'll see updated information on that too. How it's determined how much each county gets is like we did through COVID, is based on population of the entire population. So I think Montmorency County is probably gonna see about $35,000 of that or so. I have to look at population again, make sure it's accurate, but that's another component of it. So if you can help us share this, if you know of business owners, it doesn't matter what kind of business, let them know it's here for them. It's free, it's confidential, it's very accessible, because either through Tammy or through mentors, they will get to them. And it's really something we want to see people access in the next 2 years. We happen to be the program administrator. It does not mean we're, I don't want people thinking we're coming into Montmorency County and do economic development. I've already been asked that many times. No, we just want to make sure you get help and get the program out in this county. I have an assistant, her name is Brandy. She is going to be working with the my Michigan Works group that has business development assistants. Do you have an economic development representative or someone that she can work with as well to get this out?
Yeah, you can send it to our office.
Okay, we'll send it to the office. Ideally, it would be great if they could go out with her so that people don't go, wait, you're not even from Montmorency County. What are you doing here? We want people to know, hey, it's just something we're providing in partnership with you. And we're gonna try to get out to all the little communities as well. It doesn't matter where they're at, where they're operating from. If you have a business, even a startup, we want to make sure you're getting tools and resources to grow or at least be successful. So thank you for having me, letting me share it. Yeah, go ahead.
They're to help. So let's say I got a small lawn care business. And I need another mower.
Yep.
Is that something that they pay for?
We can through the grant funding. Is that what you're talking about? So anything through the grant funding can be paid for except construction. So if they want to put in a parking lot, can't do that. If they want to put in an air conditioning unit and they have to break drywall, can't do that. Equipment, yes. It probably would not pay for an entire piece of equipment if you decide to do smaller grants, but they'll have to describe what they want to use it for and how it's going to ensure that they continue to be successful. So could be inventory, could be insurance. Maybe they've never had liability insurance and they need liability insurance, things like that are going to show that they're going to use it to go forward.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions? I'll leave these brochures. Please take them. Please feel free to distribute them. Like I said, if you want help from the SBDC representative, Tammy, she's actually basing out of West Branch, but she can go anywhere. Her contact's on here as well. You have to go through what's called the Small Business Development Center, but she'll get you going on that. And it may be something that if businesses are thinking, hey, maybe when this grant comes up, I can apply for it, get help, but I want to make sure that it looks like I've got my ducks in a row. We're probably going to require a financial statement that shows that you've been, accounting for your income and expenses. Believe it or not, some people don't do that. She can help get them prepared. So that's another opportunity. I'll leave these here. Feel free to take them. Pick up my cards off the floor, sorry.
Lisa, I just want to mention that Brandy, I think it was Brandy.
Yes.
That's been here in the past.
Yep.
She has left brochures at my office, so at the county clerk's office, and as people are coming in, either renewing their DBAs, or
Yes.
business as, or applying for new.
Yep.
We're also giving those out.
Okay, thank you. She probably gave you just the Economic Alliances brochure because we didn't have that done yet until 2 weeks ago. That is just the Small Business Hub program.
Okay.
when you mention that, it triggers something else in my mind. A lot of businesses start as a DBA and then have either grown or they're in partnership or what have you, and aren't aware of how to like get an EIN number or to be incorporated. This is another thing we can help with. A lot of times people don't understand the difference, what the liability issue is, what that means. So again, this is another just support program for that. So you'll see Brandy up here as well. My goal for her is to get out to our small businesses in person and also to maybe do some lunch and learns or coffee connects or something like that, so that people know we're out there with it and they can use it.
Links on our website too.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yep.
CDBG mortgage release.
We have a release, we had a mortgage that went up for tax resale. I went to court to fight to get our money back from that, from the tax sale, so we could release the mortgage on this person, and we did receive the money for it. So I just need Mr. Edwards to sign the discharge of the mortgage.
Okay, I guess I'll.
You need a motion to that?
Okay, yeah, I need motions and.
I'll make a motion that the chairman sign the discharge.
I'll second
We
that.
have a motion, a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll be signing it now.
There need to be a name of some sort
Yeah,
associated with
it's,
that kind of, even if it's.
The mortgage was dated January 26th. I showed this to you after I signed it. It was given by Melvin Ostrander, single man, on
Okay.
Airport Road.
Ostrander property.
Yes,
Can you spell Ostrander?
yes, Ostrander.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you.
That's all you need.
That's all I need.
Okay, we're going down to old business.
You got a motion, you gotta take care of.
Get a finalized motion.
Oh, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Nays, motion carried. Now we're old business. Materials Management Plan, Planning Committee nominations.
Okay, so we put it,
Go more. Will we skip the recount?
put it at the bottom probably.
That's old business, last thing on. the
Oh,
list.
it's old business.
Yeah.
Okay.
We posted the nomination request, if anybody was interested in being on the Materials Management Planning Committee. I have not received anybody of interest. But we have to have our nominations into Alpena by the 10th of September. Now, there was a list of different options for people to nominate for, and we have to fill out the form for a nomination for each place.
Do we have any candidates?
So we didn't have anybody that said that
That's
were
what I'm saying,
interested,
so.
no. But at the very least, it says each participating county at its discretion can appoint as a matter of right under part 115 at MCL 324.11572.6A and B, the following 2 voting members of the MMP committee without any review or approval by the DPA or NEMCOG, an elected official of the county or a municipality in the planning area, and a representative from a business that generates managed materials within the planning area. So, you know, you have that right to pick those 2 that are automatically going to go on to the committee for the whole group. The other ones that we submit on the sheet are going to be reviewed by NEMCOG and Alpena and decided on for the final committee. So I guess since we don't have any nominations, I still have to get this submitted. Is there any suggestions, people we could reach out to for the 10th to get this?
Well, I'm wondering about garbage haulers in the area. We don't have too many of them, so that kind of limits that pool right there. Would anybody else qualify besides?
So, yeah, it's kind of like one of the issues. So these, I'll name all the ones that we needed to nominate for. So a solid waste disposal facility operator representative, a representative of a hauler of managed material, a materials recovery facility operator representative, a composting facility or anaerobic digester operator representative, a waste diversion, reuse, or reduction facility operator representative, a representative of an environmental interest group that has members residing in the planning area, an elected official of the county, an elected official of a township, an elected official of a city or village, a representative of a business that generates and manages material, a representative of the regional planning agency whose territory includes the planning area, and one additional representative that does business in or resides in an adjacent community outside the planning area.
Well, it's awful hard to get people, they don't know the dates, they don't know where they're gonna be. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns to that. To have someone sign up, I mean, I wouldn't sign up until you give me some details. So I guess that's probably why no one's stepping forward.
Yeah, I thought when we were talking about this, when it first came out, that you would ask me to take.
You're on the interlocal agreement board. So
Okay.
for the 5 counties, you would be deciding the final picks
Okay.
for this big planning committee. So you are our representative for our county to go to these meetings with NEMCOG and all the people at the table that will finalize who's going to be on this committee. But I guess we just need to have ideas for names. And if we only give a couple, like we could do the elected official, somebody that we would on that planning committee. And if there's any, and we don't even have I don't think we have a business that generates and manages material in the area either. So I don't have a whole lot of options to pick from.
I think so. No. Okay.
I'm not gonna be elected.
I won't be either.
Is there anybody that does any recycling in any of the communities? Even any recycling programs listed? Yeah, homeless case, there's.
You have any interest?
Yeah.
All right, this will be.
Okay,
Can
got a
we-
question back?
Yes,
Cheryl Hamlin said she would.
yes, ma'am.
I will. I'll be on the committee. Michelle Hamlin.
Okay, there you go. You got
All right, we
volunteer.
got one.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break right now. We've got a couple of it like that, so. This time we'll be adjourned for. Let's come back at 5. It's about 8.
Make it 8.
Yeah, make it 8. Okay. We'll go line up.
They're down there more. What? There's a, oh, did you not bring? Your
Okay, we got home phone number. And I'll give you mine.
Right.
Are you getting some logging done over there?
Yeah.
It goes. So far, I'm talking to somebody.
I remember before those trees were there. I remember before those trees were there.
Pretty wide open. Yeah, that was 50 years ago. I've got a business card. But I don't want to do this. Oh, you don't know any of the business.
Oh, my gosh.
Look forward to working with you.
Class advisory meeting. Yesterday, Thursday, Tuesday night, and Tawny said, sorry, we're all separated, like, but we're all getting over this sickness. She said if it was previous COVID standards, we would really have to have close school because all the staff is down. It's crazy.
I'll give you 3.
Thankfully, it's just quick. Anna just had it.
I guess all the ones had it.
Yeah.
Today. Right. So,
Arma, he was down
Yeah.
4 days, 5 days.
really?
Yeah. Well, he worked, so it's like he's not feeling great.
Just ones that find out in advance. Like, it's- Brian had it a few weeks ago, but none of the rest of us got it. Thankfully.
So quiet way to do that.
Sneak it in.
Yeah.
Turn that damn blower off.
I'll give something.
I didn't know one was on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's where the cold air comes right out of that.
Is it?
That's why I wanted to take 5 minutes.
Oh.
That has a lot to do with it.
Turn it off.
It allows the man on if she does the, that's the air conditioner.
Are you going in?
Trying not to complain too much. You know, I'm
Oh,
short
the
timer
short
here.
timer.
Good, good.
Very good. Good as I do.
What should I do?
Yeah.
You know, when I first got on, I really, I don't.
Oh, that could have been a lot, sure. Well, if it's in break, we're not open. You're the last one to come in. There has been a little batch of COVID going around.
I was just gonna come say, hey.
Oh, it's another, yeah, just another form one. Yep, yep. Yep, yep.
How you been, Danny?
Good, thank you. Good. Staying on drum, are you?
No.
No. And you got time for another committee, huh? Ah,
Maybe Kara's husband.
Danny is the president of the
I know. that we've known each other for 20 years.
Why not? Okay.
Ask Kara.
So tell them.
Hey,
Danny,
Kevin needs to.
Danny was from Lewiston and Denny is having the play.
Yeah.
We'll try again.
Don't know. So we have the
Trustees.
well, honestly, I don't know. Because they can have everything going on. We have a main guy.
Yeah, but. All the pieces, they will teach you. Oh, no, I just gave some names to, but I think it's like,
Okay, so
are still, you know.
In here?
might make it
He's still a trustee on. Yeah, maybe he don't already have to.
They're coming a couple hours away, so it might not be like.
I don't think.
Super
they're
early in the
they're
morning.
usually, yeah, they staff out.
Yeah.
Couldn't get in.
Like 10 when he shows up.
Whatever works, you
He's
know.
coming about 2 hours away, so.
Worth asking.
Yeah, they're just good.
Because you kind of want somebody with experience.
Right.
No.
It's probably
Right, that would be.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Put it on it. Yeah.
Good deal.
Tomorrow or today. When you get ready.
Ready, Cheryl?
Work with them.
Okay.
Get people in here. Go over it.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna call the meeting back to order. And if we were on the,
And then.
the motions released, now with material management. And now are we done with the material management?
Yep, I'll send what I have and see if I can come up with anything else, but that's all we got.
Okay, next item on there is the enterprise fleet updates.
Okay, so I received an email from Enterprise just going over the program. They check in with me regularly to see. They give me a checklist of some of the things that they noticed issues with. So we've been on this since May. We've received one new vehicle already. The new truck is being delivered soon for the building department. And then the two police vehicles are in production and should be completed very soon and delivered as well. Some of the notes they said is the maintenance utilization. They're showing that 20 of our units have not received an oil change through our program yet. These units are highlighted in yellow. This does not mean that you have 20 units that are in need of maintenance, but I would keep an eye on those units as the alerts won't come through automatically for these units until the first oil change has been logged in our system. They attached a report so I could look through. With your internal shop on our maintenance program, do we have questions or need more guidance on how to utilize auto integrate to get the most out of the program? And so far, it's only been used one time for an oil change, which seems a little low with the volume as well as all the maintenance items should run through the program, not just the oil changes. So our vehicles aren't logged into the system. All the work that's being done on them hasn't been going through the system. So I mean, Enterprise is making notes with that issues. We signed on that we said we would be utilizing the program so we could track, because then they review our vehicles so that they can come up with the plans and the analysis for us to find out which vehicles would be good for replacements and get us costs on what new replacements would be, and also to give us estimated sales prices if we were going to get rid of the vehicle, just to see what the condition of the vehicles are. So we kind of have a guideline going so they can keep giving us like future year forecast of what our costs would be so that we know how many vehicles we'd have to lease and how, at what time period we'd have to lease them.
I have a question. Don't we have a mechanic that's doing that work regularly?
Yes, and he's supposed to be set up on the auto integrate program and logging all that, and it's not being logged.
So I spoke to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Isn't that part of the person's job to maintain records also?
Yes, and our mechanic does actually, it's Bernie Nielsen that is our mechanic. And I mean, obviously, pretty much everybody here knows, does remarkable maintenance on our vehicles and ensuring that they're not only up to date on maintenance, but receiving all the preventative maintenance that they require. We spoke, I know I spoke briefly, obviously April's, I know the board received an email reference this topic. And I did end up contacting the chairman to speak about this issue as well. Again, when this product was agreed upon by the board, obviously you recall there was significant hesitation on my end through this agreement, but the board did agree that they were going to do the 2 patrol vehicles and then the 2 vehicles for the courthouse, which was palatable. And we said, okay, we'll kind of see how this operation goes.
Why would you have an issue with
Excuse me.
Okay, can we finish?
Excuse me.
Excuse me, you can, let's
So-
finish the report first, then we'll come back. to
Okay,
this, yeah.
sure.
We'll come back to it, we'll come back to it.
Okay, so I have, since we started this in May, and I had Enterprise, they worked with Bernie to get the program set up so they can do it. And obviously the truck has been logged for the building department that was worked on, but the other vehicles have not. I have emailed 4 times asking for just updates because I needed updated odometer readings and information on like the fleet itself so that I could put it in the system, because we have our gas cards attached to the vehicles. We have, you know, they do checkups with us every month to make sure everything's going good. And if they can't see any of our information, we're paying for a program that we're not gonna get anything out of. I didn't get any response from Bernie on these. And then finally, Monday, I got an email from Bernie. And his statement was that the vehicles, I can read it to you actually. It just said, sheriff cars, the sheriff's business. Otherwise, all old vehicles don't need to go on there. Contact the undersheriff Crane if you have questions. So basically, they're not planning on utilizing the program. So we've signed on with Enterprise. We've said we're going to do this. We're paying this maintenance management fee for these vehicles so that we can log everything, so we can keep track and know what's going on, and so that we have a plan moving forward. If we're going to be leasing vehicles, we need to know the costs so that we can plan and see what our savings could potentially be by switching to these leased vehicles. If the whole purpose of the maintenance program is to see how many miles are on these vehicles and how much you're utilizing it, so that you can say, would it be worthwhile to go to a lease on these vehicles? That's the whole principle behind all this. One of the other issues that was noted from Enterprise was that there was an issue with one of the vehicles. They used premium fuel. They just flagged it and let us know that that happened in case there was an issue there. So we could talk to anybody if they, should be or shouldn't be using premium fuel. And then there was another issue with an odometer reading when they logged it in the WEX program, but we fixed that issue. It was just a hit of a number, so it should be all set. And all of the drivers of the vehicles received a gas card, and they can utilize, or I should say, all the cars have a gas card in them. And then every person who drives has a PIN, a 4-digit PIN that they can punch in when they go and get fuel for that vehicle. They also have the ability to go on to an app, either on the website or on their phone, and they can look, if we're utilizing this program, they can see when they get in a vehicle, when the last time the oil change was, or when anything was done on it, so that they know what's going on with their own vehicle. And if they were to have an issue, they can put it in there that they have an issue. So it's a way for the person who's driving this vehicle every day to have a record of what's going on with their own car that they're driving. And again, not being utilized. So we're paying for all this stuff, and it's not being set up the way we said we would. We signed a contract saying we were going to participate in this program, and we're not. And I'm not getting cooperation. And we also received a couple different bills from Dean Arbor Ford for big repairs on cars. So they're obviously going into the dealership for repairs, and that wasn't even logged into the system. So, we have no.
Yeah, the one bill there too was, there's a statement that was way over on the oil change, car 8. I don't know who has car 8, but that was, they did the oil change because it was
Low oil pressure.
low oil pressure, and they could tell it was way over oil change, whatever. But that was done that normally our people do, so. I don't know why that was way over. It wasn't done. I don't know that answer.
Deputy,
No, it's up to the mechanic, takes care of them.
no, I'm just saying, I didn't quite understand. Did the
They
deputy?
took
on
a
his
car
own?
in for some repairs.
Yeah.
There's warranty work.
This is.
Just let me finish, Sheriff.
Go ahead, I'm sorry,
Okay.
go ahead.
So we got the bill, there was some warranty work, and at the same time, they changed the oil.
Oh, the dealership.
The dealership. And the question was why they changed the oil instead of, according to them, it was way over the oil change. How they knew that?
It was low. It was a low oil pressure.
Okay, low oil pressure, okay. Anyway, they did the oil change here, so now, Sheriff, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, and Under Sheriff, please step in if I'm misspeaking. So I don't know if any of you have read, but there's a 85,000 vehicle recall on the police, the Explorers from 2000 to 2022, which this vehicle is one of those. The reason that the oil change occurred at the dealership is because this vehicle is having engine issues that are under warranty. So when it got brought to the dealership and they were servicing said engine, the dealership believed that the issue was low oil pressure. Therefore, they had to change the oil, new oil filter, and whatever else they did. That said vehicle is actually completely out of commission and is one of these vehicles that is going to end up more than likely needing a new engine through this recall process. So that wasn't a significantly over oil change situation. It was because it was the dealership's remedy to what they believe the problem to be.
Let me, is that one what's the mileage
Yes.
of it?
I think it's about 80,000 if I'm not
Okay.
correct, if I'm not
All right,
mistaken.
all right.
So what Ford ended up doing is within this model, this recall area, they've extended all drivetrain to 100,000 miles. And now that vehicle is currently back over at Dean Arbor, one of our newer vehicles, and it's gonna end up needing a new engine. That will be warranted, but that was the reason for the service being there.
Okay.
The idea that, yeah, Chairman, we've had a mechanic for a long time. The idea that you can't facilitate service without having an app is ludicrous. We're small. There's a sticker on your window. That's how we've done it for 20 years, and it works just fine. And again, not looking to utilize this program. It makes sense for the leased vehicles that we're going to receive. It makes 100% sense.
because when we receive these new lease vehicles, we input them, we monitor, we're able to show, here's the service record so that they can say it received fantastic maintenance throughout the life of it and is gonna be hopefully resellable at this price. That makes sense. Don't disagree with the lease portion. It's every vehicle we have up until this point ultimately isn't gonna matter whether it gets put in there or not. Those are vehicles that we've purchased through the millage over the years. They're all gonna be over, 80, there's a few lower mileage, mine being one of them, but a majority of these vehicles are getting towards service end of life, or, they're on the back half of it. So whether they get input or not isn't gonna make a lick of difference.
Well, it
So,
is, because
but
that's the point of
supporting-
enterprise. That's why they wanted us to do it, so they knew which vehicles needed.
But you have to,
be switched out.
as
That's the
Commissioner
point.
Hardy's, the idea is that we agreed to 2 vehicles. That's what we agreed to. The idea that we're gonna all of a sudden transition to 6, 8, 10, 17 total leased vehicles, that is not something I, as the sheriff, am willing to commit our budget for. We have never done that. And we literally just went to Alpena and sat down with them 2 days ago. They're just over a year into the program and said, we're not sure if this is gonna be the right decision or not, because they haven't even gone through the transition. They had issues. They had to change the entire fleet because they couldn't receive the vehicles they wanted. This isn't it's the greatest thing, sliced bread. I'm okay with starting the way we have. Let's look at 2 vehicles. Let's see what this process looks like.
So
And
how
the
come
county got-
we have none? So then why would you said they only have 1 vehicle now listed?
Yeah, and it's probably, I'm sorry if I interrupt you, I apologize. Go
Well,
ahead.
so my point still is, the point was to log them in so that they could see where we were with the vehicles, because they're going to replace us with like vehicles.
Mary, what's the
Was the
purpose? So
understanding.
I've been doing this forever, Bernie, and I communicate well. The problem is we don't see the end purpose to this. You keep saying that they want to input information to be able to evaluate the value of these vehicles that we're going to get rid of. I understand that. These are 200,000 plus miles cars. There's no value here. So I guess what we're trying to say is continuity and fluidity within our office and us allowing ourselves to make decisions on what cars come and go is far more important to us than saving $300 on a car bill. I'm not going to release this information to an end user that I don't understand right now. I don't know what they're doing with this information. I don't know who's at the end of that line. But Mary, the ultimate point here is you have to understand there's no reason for this at this point. Now, like the sheriff said, when we get the new cars in there and it becomes a full enterprise process, absolutely, we're on board. But right now, what you're asking us to do, there's no reason for it, because you're looking to evaluate the difference between a sale of a car for $2,000 or $2,200 here. Really, that's what this is about. So if you could
So
please
what are the
explain
2
to me.
cars that are going to be switched out when Enterprise brings these new 2 cars online? What are the 2 cars
We
that are
will
gonna
make-
be of equal
again,
value
let me
that
explain
they
to you.
need to assess? It's gotta be a
For a
two-way
decade,
street.
Mary, I've been,
It's a two-way street. They
For a
have to
decade.
get the same
for a
information.
decade under Don and Chad, I've evaluated a dozen factors into which car gets retired, so to speak. And it's not just money. It's about operations within our department. That's not something that we're gonna let control of go right now. We get to make the decision on what car leaves. Now, when the enterprise cars in their system, that might be a different situation. But I don't understand the concept of allowing enterprise to make sale decisions for us when we're the sheriff and undersheriff, and we know what we need in our office. So please, again, explain to me, other than.
Okay, they're not
$300
making
right?
sale decisions.
Okay.
They're giving us the tools to put it all together so that when the board looks at their fleet, because these are county-owned vehicles, when they look at the fleet, they know what the status is. At any time, they can literally
For
just
what
look and
purpose,
see
April?
what the status of the fleet is.
For what purpose?
Let her,
Is
I
this-
said, let her finish.
They can see what we have all on our fleet, what the mileage and health of them are, what work has been done on them, what it's costing us, because come budgeting time, it kind of matters to you to know how much has been put into each vehicle. What vehicles costing you more money, which one's not? In looking at the differences between leases and our own vehicles, like, it's a good way for us to see, is the leasing program working for us? If it's not being utilized, then you have no gauge. You have no gauge whatsoever. They are gonna give you analysis on what those vehicles have cost you. They're gonna give you analysis on what those vehicles could sell for. And then you guys will be able to make the decision on what vehicles you're going to either get rid of or keep or switch around, or how you plan on doing it. You have these tools available to you. This is all information that should be readily available to anybody that would request it. It's not a secret if a car is being worked on. And the problem is, so this stuff is supposed to be said, this is warranty work, but we have a bill for almost $600 and a bill for $400. So then why are we paying these amount of money if it's warranty work?
All you need to do is ask.
Just wait, let her sheriff, will you wait till she's done?
The problem is, we do ask, and we get foot it around and don't get answers and get ignored and foreign emails go unanswered. That's the problem. We ask, we don't get answers because you don't want to share the information. And it's frustrating because we're trying to find a way to be able to get new fleet out there for the deputies so that they're driving in safe vehicles. We're trying to come up with a way that we can afford it and take care of it, but yet we're always met with pushback instead of just being worked with. It's frustrating.
Yeah, this is frustrating, and I agree. We have talked about vehicles and we've talked about fleet for a long time. And we brought up this program and we said, let's look at it, let's take our time and let's work through this program. That wasn't what happened. The county signed on to 4 vehicles. Fine. We have 2 vehicles coming. And when those vehicles come online, which I think we're paying for already, but whatever, whenever they get here, they'll get here and they'll get put into the system and the maintenance will be logged and we can do this little dance.
Well, the agreement was that,
Excuse me,
the agreement was to do
I
maintenance.
I let you talk. This is what there is,
Sheriff,
Don, okay, just give me one moment.
You-
We talked about this.
we did.
No, sir, I apologize, but it is time that we stop allowing other people to run other offices. And this isn't the only example, I'm sorry. There's dictating, operational decisions are being made that are outside my control. That's unacceptable. And I'm not the only office experiencing this. I'm willing to sit down and work. A phone call goes a long way. A conversation goes a long way. That hasn't happened. Well, I am on board with this. I'm not saying we're not on board with this program.
You know yourself, ever since the life of the sheriff's department, we've had a problem getting new vehicles,
Sure.
update them. The board looked at this program and thought it was a good economical program for that. Now, as far as how you get your vehicles, you should be happy you're gonna get all new vehicles, okay? But apparently, that's not part of the problem. I mean, that seems to be.
But Don, again, like you and I talked about on the phone.
We did.
You're a fiscally conservative individual, and I like that. I agree with that, to the point where we butt heads about things. But this is not, we literally watched this whole little episode about it might save X amount of dollars, $10,000 over 10 years or something. I mean, it's not like this is a significant savings. It could potentially improve the fleet. There is no disagreement. I said, I am not against this program, but I'm not going to commit the entire fleet to it at this time. I haven't seen enough of it. And when our neighbors are already a year plus into it and they're saying, we don't know if this is the right thing, why am I going to jump into that situation? If we can baby step into this and we can look at it and evaluate it, fine. I am 100% on board. But to act like there's a lack of maintenance or a lack of whatever we're talking about, the reason we're in situations we're in, again, is that whether it's we buy 1 vehicle, we buy 2 vehicles, we buy 1 vehicle, we buy 2 vehicles, we skip a year, that puts our fleet into a position where it gets a little bit older. And that's the position we're in right now. And that's okay. And we can work through that. We have 2 new vehicles coming online. Fantastic. Let's see what that looks like over a 2-year period. Let's continue to look at this and see if it's going to work, if it's the right decision for Montmorency County. Because if we end up with 6 new vehicles, we are paying for that no matter what.
Well, yeah, you're right. We got to pay for them, no matter if we buy them outright or through.
But at least then, once we buy them, they're paid for. I guess that's the difference I look at, is we say, we're going to buy 1 vehicle this year, we buy it, it's paid for, we're done. If we have to extend the life of that vehicle, we have that option. On lease vehicles, could there potentially be that? I guess, I don't know.
Well, it's my understanding, after the lease, there are vehicles. It doesn't go back to them.
But the goal is always going to be what? To sell it to.
No, the
to go-
leasing program, once you put it on there, you get it for 5 years and then they replace it.
Okay.
And the beauty is they were to replace these vehicles when there was still salvageable
And so
equity
then
in
you
the
take the
vehicle. At this
money
point, you
that they
just
sell
told
it
us there
for.
is none. When you're running
Yes.
the program, there's been none.
And the process makes total sense with once you get into the program. I get the theology of it. It makes sense. You run a vehicle till 75,000 miles, then you roll it over. And then you run the next vehicle till 85,000 miles and you roll it over. It's not like I don't understand it. I'm just not sure that it's going to be the right fit for us. Why is there anything wrong with us saying, let's start with 2? We don't have 2 even here yet. Once these come online, we input them into the system and we're onward and upward. But the discretion of what the fleet of the sheriff's office looks like should be the sheriff, whoever that is. It should be the sheriff.
So I guess, and you know the problem we've had we got a $350,000 deficit this year we got to work on. You may or may not get new cars in the next, that'll be an issue down the road if we don't get into some program where we can replace them.
So I guess that statement doesn't make sense to me, because if we can't afford it, then we can't afford it no matter what.
Well, if it's built in the system, I mean, you can't get,
Well, if you're saying that, we're budgeting for it. I mean, that's basically what you're saying. If we sign up for this, we're signing up for whatever that agreement is, that
that's
payment.
correct, that's correct.
So what's the difference in budgeting for 4 new vehicles over the next 4 years? You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing. It's just you're budgeting it differently. You're either making a lease payment or you're buying a new vehicle.
But bottom line, you don't like the program, that's what. you're
No,
saying.
I'm not saying I don't like the program. I'm not.
Well, inputting the information, so everybody has the
There's-
information, enterprise and us, and we've already heard that we're not going to input it according to the undersheriff. It's a stalemate.
There's no value. There's no value there. And that's, I
That's the
guess,
point.
all, that is exactly what we're saying. We're entering into a system that once fleet vehicles come online, it makes sense. At this point in time, it doesn't matter what we do.
You're saying there's no value to the sheriff's department?
What kind of statement is that?
I'm asking a question.
I understand, and I'm responding with the same. Please repeat your question.
You made the statement that you're not wanting the information to go out because there's no value for the sheriff's department.
I do not understand your question, Lloyd, I'm sorry.
The information on the vehicles that are currently in our fleet purchased under the millage, their information going into the portal would not have value to the overall project. Correct.
For the sheriff's department,
Well, for the county,
for the whole county.
yes, sir.
How would it not?
Because we don't understand the process long term enough, and we don't know if it's the best fiscally responsible move to move into the future. And we've got some grumblings right up to what I believe was a threat of our mechanic's job yesterday to get clarity on some ongoing maintenance issues. Don, I wrote something yesterday that I'd like to read.
Not right now, we'll get to that in a bit. Like
It's
you
about
said,
the car topic. This is about the car topic, and I just wrote it ahead of time so that I could collect my thoughts, and this is about this topic.
let her finish her report, then I'll let you say what you want to say,
Thank
okay?
The program is there. We can't tell the value of it if we're not utilizing it. We can't see if the program's working for us if we're not using all the aspects of it. We assigned on that we were gonna do this program. We said we'd start with 4 vehicles. That's all we've signed on for is 4 vehicles. But we can't evaluate anything if we're not using the full program. So just because they say that they don't see a value, well, we would see a value to know if this is gonna be worth it to us economically to continue down this path. We need to know all the information instead of always the little breadcrumbs of information that we get. We need the full picture so that we can make sound decisions when we're gonna budget for this 10 years down the road. We need to know what it's gonna cost us, if it's gonna help us. But we can't do that if we never get the full picture. And that's the problem.
Okay, go ahead, Undersheriff, go ahead, what was your statement? You got a statement?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Thank you. The community spoke very clearly and loudly about what they want the allocation of funds to look like in this county. Basically, your budget was cut and our budget was continued. Please respect that. We work for the public, and it's important that we remember why we have a budget to begin with. The other part of the vote that I think spoke loudly was Sheriff Brown. I think the public clearly restated their trust for him and his budget processes and within the sheriff's department. Our current county controller supported everybody that stood in opposition of him and all of the elected seats in the county. That statement alone is so profound that more examination needs to be done before we move forward on any business. To us, operational fluidness is far more important than saving money on one vehicle sale. This is clearly a power grab to take financial and vehicle control of our department. That's not good for public safety, and we're not going to let it happen. These cars were purchased under the millage, and there is no need to request Enterprise's assistance in selling them. Once the rest of the fleet that we acquire through Enterprise comes of age, we'd be happy to allow Enterprise to have the information that they're requesting. We are not interested in any part of the maintenance program. As we have said many times, we currently have the best mechanic we could possibly have working on our cars. The spirit of our stance is reflected in the current bargaining agreement, as it states that the sheriff has sole discretion over the use of the patrol cars. The controller has worked very hard and for a long time with the treasurer to restrict our ability to run our office. Now, I hope you respect the wishes of the public, because I believe they've spoken loudly about what financial allocation authority they want within Montmorency County. BOC, please work with us and respect our wishes on this and other topics that affect our ability to serve the public.
okay, one thing, the county, once the county decides to buy a vehicle, you usually have the option to say what you want on it and stuff. As far as what we buy and when we buy it, this is the board decision, not your decision.
That's
Number
correct.
one.
It's generally been a joint decision about operations and finances
That's, we're just
together.
talking about
That's what we're asking
you
for
get
back.
your input usually what kind of vehicle you want and stuff. Then we will purchase that, okay?
Have you ever gone against what we've asked for? No. We've always worked
Yeah, I
together
think
and
so,
agreed on
but
the
I'm
best
trying
fit
to
for the
say that
county.
it's our decision to buy once you get them your vehicles to use.
And our point is it's worked well to this point, and she's trying to bring in a third-party conglomerate vendor to make decisions that we have no issue making with you guys in the
Well,
past.
actually, the decision was made by the board, not the third-party vendor. We thought that was a good option
But
for
where
us.
we see this going is the third-party vendor is gonna render an opinion, April's gonna report that opinion to
Well, it
you
makes some sense.
without
yeah.
any consideration about our operation.
You should not care if we keep a record of those vehicles, we get a better price.
I
for
have
them.
all the records, and you can come to me and see anytime you want.
That's not the point, Under Sheriff.
The point is it's redundant and unnecessary, Don. You know.
I
this. We did
don't
this for a
know if it
decade.
is or it isn't. It sounds like a good program as far as putting that in there.
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly where I'm at, and we're just asking you to slow down, look at things, and work with us, not against us. That's it.
We're fighting over a program. We're not fighting over vehicles or
Oh,
not.
this is
That's,
a bigger issue than just the program, Don. You know that.
well,
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman.
yeah.
I'm a little bit confused. The mechanic has maintenance records. So what their enterprise is asking, that he maintains his records online on an online program. Is that?
That's basically it, yeah.
And he's not even asking, they're not asking for past records. They're just saying moving forward,
Right.
like, start
Oh,
putting
I
it in
know
there.
what they're asking for.
So it's not redundant because it would be done on the program instead of,
Right,
Versus of hard copies or
right. And-
manual.
And whoever needs to look at it can look at it. So ma'am, you got a question? Go ahead with your question.
Well, all of this is a question of data entry. It's over here on paper. They want it in the program. Why can't someone just enter that data? It
Well,
doesn't need. to
That's
be
the issue
Bernie
right
to-
now. They don't want it in there.
Well,
So
Bernie does, they don't want Bernie to enter it. They don't want that. These bills come in, the information's there. Just have someone put it in. It's simple data entry. Anybody can take that piece of paper and.
well,
enter it.
the mechanics are what should be doing it. There's not anyone. We're not gonna hire a third party to put that stuff in the system, so.
Is Bernie a elected?
Now,
Or
he
is
works for the board.
Why isn't? he putting it in the-
he's a county department head.
Paid for out of. That's true.
He's,
But the issue seems to be over time, control over your budget
Information.
and how you operate your department. That seems to me your concern.
That would be correct.
Yes.
So Bernie's caught in the middle, what he should do or who he's reporting to, or, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he was
So we have
removed.
an issue there.
Mid-year last year, the board removed Bernie from being one of our employees. However, they never removed his budget, they never removed his tools, they never removed his
So
shop.
there's
So
an
we have a
issue
mess
there.
going on with Bernie, that he works for them, but he has to work under us, and it's kind of a mess.
So who
Yeah.
does he really report to?
Depends on the topic, I guess. That's a great question. That needs
And
to be
as far as
addressed.
I know, we still paid for out of our, but he's out of our budget, both the millage and our general fund. He's paid for through the sheriff's funds. So,
We're confused too, maybe they can clarify.
And then he does work on the other couple of
he does
vehicles
yeah,
that
he
we
works
have.
on the county.
among
County
other-
mechanic who works on all their stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly the sheriff's department. vehicles, so.
Yes, that's right.
I guess that's where we are now. What's the board's wishes? I guess, we know where they stand and we know what we
Well,
implemented.
what does the board have the authority to do here? I wonder, because we can't tell the sheriff what to do with his budget. We can't tell him how to run his department.
We're not telling how to run his department. They're county vehicles. We want a record of them, period. There's his to use. County buys them. The sheriff don't buy them. It's money we give to the sheriff to buy his equipment. But everything belongs to the county. We want a maintenance record on all the vehicles. I think that's reasonable. I don't think that's interfering or anything as far as secret stuff. And we can,
We have a maintenance record according to the undersheriff.
we understand, everyone here voted for that program. She explained it very well. We all voted for it. Now, apparently some discussion, you don't like the program now.
No, that's not what anybody's
Well,
saying.
that's part of the program. All the vehicles are supposed to be in this
We're
program.
we're arguing over nothing here. We're arguing, the county owns all the 21 cars or whatever the fleet is that Enterprise has nothing to do with. The sheriff is telling us that if when Enterprise delivers the new cars, they'll follow the new program.
So they want to follow part of it. You gotta remember, they want all the vehicles so they keep record of
But what the hell does Enterprise want to know what the old cars have got on
the
them?
cost on them, and what was put in them when they go to sell them.
It's to evaluate, to move forward. If we're gonna continue with the program, we need to know what it's costing us now so that we know moving forward what it costs us. It's all,
Pardon my
it's
language,
just,
by the way.
it's a program to utilize for the board so they know if you're gonna continue with the leasing program or you're not gonna continue with the leasing program. If you don't know what you're paying now for your vehicles, directly what vehicles are costing you what, it's not gonna help you evaluate if the leases are saving you money or not saving you money.
Or,
You need-
or to know which vehicles need to be swapped out.
Exactly.
Well, and to know which vehicles to be swapped out, again, this is a very, this is a microcosm of an issue that I'm having significant struggles with. And it's the law, I'll be honest, again, we talked about it. I'm gonna say it's micromanaging. Are the county vehicles, are the police vehicles county vehicles?
Yes.
Yeah, of course they are. That's not a question. Is every county vehicle, is every patrol vehicle we own purchased from the millage? Yep, 100%. Does that change the ownership of it? No, but we need to remember that the millage has funded every single one of those vehicles. Just putting that out there, they haven't come from general fund. That doesn't matter. To Commissioner Jordan's point, yes, when we get fleet vehicles in, whenever that is, the program moves forward. What vehicles we retire, we get rid of, is going to be our decision at this point. Because we know whether it has more mileage, it might be better operationally. Or maybe this isn't like, and Don, it's not like you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out at this point. We have an older fleet. Once new vehicles come in, we resign ours. We participate in this program 100%. As the fleet vehicles come in, we start logging it. We start tracking how much is it costing us versus, I guess, if we were to buy a vehicle outright every year. We're fighting over something that I guess I want you to understand has nothing to do with, it's literally not dollars and cents, because it is literally dollars and cents we're arguing about, the data entry. What it is the control and who's telling me how to run my office. And I realize you don't view it that way, but every one of these decisions and what we're arguing about is that exactly. I am not on board with this program. When the fleet vehicles come in, we will log them into the program with which we purchase them under. What vehicles get retired, we will decide.
Well, the
We're not
agreement with
arguing about
Enterprise,
anything.
the agreement with Enterprise was that it was going to be a joint decision between them and us, which get retired. They have no ability to assess that if you don't put in the information.
Correct.
That's how it goes. So if you put in the information, Enterprise can be joint in that decision.
And
It's not just your decision, it's joint.
But the vehicles we own right now are ours. The vehicles we own right now that we're maintaining are ours, are the counties for us to decide what we're doing with. As we start retiring fleet vehicles, yes, that is a collaborative effort. And I'm sorry that we disagree about this, but it's not just this vehicle. It's not just this talk. We're not on board. But what we're talking about isn't even an issue. And the fact that Enterprise doesn't like it, I'm sorry, so what? Really, truly, when the vehicles come on board, we'll input them. That's fine. We're part of the program then. Right now, those other 12 vehicles are the county's vehicles for us to determine.
So they're they're assets of the county.
Yes,
They
you're
are
correct.
our decision. They are not just your decision, they are our decision.
Correct.
When we
So
signed up for
we-
the program,
Saying our.
we signed up for the program, we sat in this board meeting and we said, if we're gonna do this, we asked Bernie, are you gonna input the information and use the maintenance program? It was asked because that was one of the requirements of the program. They sat here and Sheriff and Bernie said, yes, it was not a problem, and now it's a problem.
That, no.
We said that program had to be utilized. It was a
Entering fleet
joint, we were
vehicles.
gonna do a hybrid so that we had the maintenance management with the lease vehicles, and then we would be tracking the other ones so that we had all the information. And as soon as we said that information was gonna be available to everybody, it became a problem. Like, we hear all the time transparency, but yet when we ask for information to be where we can easily get to it, we're yelled at and say, no, we can't have that information. That's the frustrating part. That's all. If we're gonna make budget decisions and know what's gonna cost us in the future for a leasing program or for purchasing vehicles, either way, you're looking at purchasing, or if you lease 10 vehicles, you're looking at spending $100 grand a year, at least, maybe 120 if you're gonna buy them. But if you're gonna lease 10 vehicles, you're only gonna spend about 98 instead of 120. And you'll have 10 new vehicles for your deputies. We've been talking about vehicles for 10 years here, that our deputies are in unsafe vehicles. They're deteriorating, they're horrible. Like, we need all these things fixed on them, and they're high mileage. We're looking at a way to put our deputies in safe vehicles. And I'm trying to give you options, and I've given options, but the problem is, you say work together and you don't want to be micromanaged. I'm not trying to micromanage, but when I try to work with you, it doesn't happen, because I can't ever get information when I'm asked about it. You can say, come see me anytime, but anytime I email or call or ask for something, I get stonewalled. It's hard to work with people if they don't want to share information.
Well, obviously, now, they don't like the program. They don't like the overall program. They don't mind the two, but they don't like the overall program. And that's kind of what I'm getting from the information.
I don't recall, I mean, I'm not trying to interrupt.
Well,
you.
part of
I'm
the
not-
part of the thing is log all cars, and you don't like that portion.
There's not
Well, you don't think there's a benefit to it. I understand that, both you and the other sheriff. I understand that.
Yep.
But we went to this now, we can go with the two, like we talked on the phone the other night. My understanding, we're not gonna need more vehicles this year, I don't think.
No, just those two
This
coming
is
in,
it.
but we have to budget for next year and see our plan.
But this vehicle issue is just a symptom of an overall issue that's gonna keep reoccurring. I hope you guys take the time to address that issue, because the cars are just a symptom of a bigger
Yeah,
issue.
well, we talked, I understand where you're coming from, there, Sheriff. Well, anyway, that's up to the board now. We passed this program, now all of a sudden, we don't want the program, apparently some of us.
So the question that Commissioner Bolster asked was, what can you do? Well, Bernie is a county employee. He is under your discretion to what you do. You guys signed on to this program. He maintains all the county fleet. So if you guys are asking him to do this program and enter all that information, he needs to do that. He's your employee.
Okay, like I said, he's come to the board and if he don't want to do it, he should have said something. I don't want to do it for whatever reason.
Well, he did in the memo. He sent
Well,
the memo
now-
and he said
now,
he's
but
not
how
going to
about-
be able to address it because he's
I know
taking
now,
orders
but
from
it
the other
wasn't, should
sheriff.
address that a long time ago. It's arguable would have been done
So
a
if
long
he's-
time ago.
Well, Bernie's getting some bad rap here, and he's between a rock and a hard place.
How so?
On knowing who I mean,
He's
he
not-
works for the sheriff's department, basically, and that's who he takes his direction from.
No, he don't. He's independent. He's his own.
When he shows up for work every day and he wants to
Doesn't
know
have where
where
he
he's.
works now. He's his own person. He doesn't work under the sheriff's department. He works with the sheriff's department.
What budget?
Well, that's a simple, we can take that, I mean, if that's your issue with that, we can take that out, and make.
That's not my only issue. My
Well, I
issue
know,
is-
but that's one of your issues. We can take care of that today.
My issue is that Bernie's confused as to how to proceed, because you guys have taken this position and you've scrambled it up.
I don't think so. I think it's pretty much clear, but he should come to us, right, this, I'm not gonna do it. Or whatever, which is, he's using you to say he don't wanna do it, basically.
I disagree.
Well, and he did the training through Enterprise this summer, did he not? Yes.
I didn't ever hear Bernie say he didn't want to do it.
Well, it's not getting done, and you know he's supposed to do it. Well, what's that tell you, Del?
What did his email say again?
If he didn't want to do it, why did he do the training?
Because he has to.
Just as a reminder. we
Sheriff
never-
said sheriff cars, sheriff business, otherwise all old vehicles don't need to go on there. Contact under Sheriff Crane with questions.
Okay, well, we spend enough time on this.
Well, we need to have an answer to it. Like, it needs to be taken care of because we signed on to Enterprise that we were gonna
cooperate and do this program so that we could analyze this stuff and have it. We have to come up, we have to meet, we have to get answers on what vehicles we're gonna be switching out for the 2 new ones coming in. I mean, there needs to be dialogue and discussion on it, but it also, the work needs to be done on it that we said we were gonna do.
What happens if we don't?
You're in breach of contract.
You're spending money for something.
You're spending money for something you're not utilizing that you paid and said you were gonna do.
That's it.
Just for the record.
Isn't that enough?
It was brought up
Just,
that-
wait a minute, keep talking. Okay.
I mean, there's other options. I mean, you have other options. All we're asking is for the information to be entered so that we can utilize the program. Because we decided to go with the maintenance management program. With the maintenance management program, we have the ability to use our in-house shop. If we don't use our in-house shop, our deputies have the ability to go to any mechanic. They could search in the locator button, mechanic in the area. They could take their vehicle to that. Enterprise would be in contact with the mechanic on whatever work had to be done on the vehicle. They would negotiate the prices and what needed to be worked on. And then they would contact us and say, here's the quote of what it costs, if you approve it or not.
Even our old vehicles?
Even our old vehicles,
The whole thing.
the whole thing. If we're not gonna use our in-house mechanic, if the program's gonna be done, that's the other option to go.
Who services the vehicles? I'm sorry. And we know the community we live in. We have a finite amount of garages that are remarkably busy. We're not Alpena, we're not Gaylord, we don't have a dealership. That is not only implausible, but it's impractical for the time and effort to try and travel to someplace to get it worked on.
Okay, I guess I've heard enough on this issue. I guess it's up to what the board want to do. You want to continue with the program? You want? No, I'm all just back and forth. I'm all done with
I'm
it.
not back and forth, and I just want to make the comment on it.
No, I'm done with it. You said pretty much what you want. I'm not gonna keep doing this all day long. I'm done with it. Now it's up to the board. It's up to the board now what we're gonna do. You can talk at the end of our meeting if you want to.
The information that we need to be put into this program is not being done, and doesn't look like it's gonna be done by the sheriff's department.
The sheriff's gonna have nothing to do with it.
I'll make a motion that we switch over to enterprise, both maintenance and the leasing. Complete 100%.
We're gonna do the mechanic. The county mechanic. What are
What's
you gonna do with
gonna
them?
happen with the mechanic then with Bernie?
And where are we gonna take our cars to do that?
Well, we got a motion on the floor right now, so. Wants to rescind his motion, or he wants to go with the motion, so he can get a second.
I'll support. We can discuss.
Okay, we can discuss it.
What are we gonna do with the mechanic, with the county
Well,
mechanic?
you can read between the lines here. If we go with this program altogether, pretty much we'll won't need a mechanic, okay? Everything will be contracted out. Now, there is issues with it. I'm not saying there's not, but that's kind of what they're saying right now, right? That's my
Now Bernie
understanding.
has his own shop already.
Huh?
Does he not already have his own shop? I thought that was the issue we went through with the diagnostic machine, that he does have his own.
Well, he does have his own shop, yeah.
So
You're
he
talking
could be a
about county shop.
contractor. No, I'm talking about his personal shop. He could be a
Oh, yeah, yeah,
contractor
yeah.
for enterprise if he were,
Yeah.
that would be an option as well.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just, will you wait a minute, Sheriff? Please.
And
But
then
that's a
we-
possibility. I doubt that's gonna happen. I mean, and just
Well, he
off
would
the
be,
top of my head, I don't think that's gonna happen. So if that didn't happen, where then would we take our vehicles?
well, they took him to Dean Arbor.
Is that what we wanna do?
It would be, well, I'm just saying, it'd be more complicated. They have to make an appointment, get the car worked on, then send the car over with someone
Be a lot.
fix and come back. It'd be a kind of rigmarole because we don't have local mechanics that can do that work. And that is an issue.
It may be an issue at first, but I'm sure that would work out. The big thing is that information that we have been asking for, that we've gotten a program for, is not being maintained. And the one way that we can get it and get it implemented is switch over to enterprise.
You can work with us or against us. It's not gonna be that simple.
I'm sorry, that's,
I'm encouraging you to work with us. This is not gonna be that simple.
we've done
To
this.
say it was simple, they got a motion, a second on the floor, but will you please, the board's talking right now. We're not taking comments, period. Period. This is the board discussing it, not general, everybody else. So
Yeah, I just can't see that working with having enterprise handle it all and trying to take our vehicles to Alpena or wherever.
that does cause some problems.
So it'd be in any NSE certified mechanic shop in the area
Well,
around us at all.
Okay, but you know as well as I do, the mechanic shops that we have and how busy they are, and when you want something done, it needs to get done. You can't, because
It's not
I
like he
take my
needs
vehicles to the mechanics around here as well as y'all do, I suppose, and sometimes takes quite a while. Get it in and get it out if there's anything
Absolutely.
major, and that's
Well,
not what we want for our.
But right now, the sheriff has 6 extra vehicles in his fleet. So there should not be a problem with any patrol officer not having a vehicle to go out in.
what?
6 extra vehicles.
We do have a motion, a second on the floor. Any more discussion on the motion, the second? Okay, I guess we'll call for a vote on that. Cheryl, you want to do a roll call on that?
What was the motion again? If I could?
The motion is to go with
Enterprise
completely for our vehicles.
And get rid of our mechanic.
Well,
He doesn't have to be gotten rid of if he wants to be a contractor. I think he was right now, that's what he should have been probably acting as self-employed at this point anyway. That's why we made him his independent person last year.
Any more comments or questions? Okay, Cheryl?
I don't usually comment on this because I try to stay neutral on this, but just a question. Besides the vehicle maintenance, the other maintenance that he provides to this county has been a huge cost savings. His building maintenance, I don't know if is anybody taking, who's gonna be doing those type of things? And I do believe that he has been put in the middle. Doesn't really know what his role is or who he needs to answer to, so I think.
Well, you should know that, Cheryl.
Well, you know what,
That in
Don?
itself. Finish up.
The lack of communication that has been happening for the last 2.5 years in this county has been ridiculous.
Well, listen, you talk at the end of the meeting on that. You want to talk about what
This
he's done.
is the whole problem, John.
I said, you talk at the end of the meeting. Well, we're trying to get through this here. I want to get the vote done. You want to call a roll call vote, please?
Absolutely. Peltier,
Yes.
Hardee's,
Yes.
Bolser,
No.
Edwards,
No.
Jordan,
Say Gerard.
Gerard,
No.
Motion went down to defeat. I think the bigger issue right now, the more I see about this, I think it makes some sense logging all the stuff, and I think it could be used down there. I hate to get confrontational, but every time the board wants to do something, we thought that would just keep track of the record. He puts it on computer instead of written. Everyone can look at it, see what we're paying on stuff. I don't see an issue with that. I have an issue with the interference between the sheriff and the mechanic. He works for us, period. He should know that. If we say you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it.
So then how are we going to rectify this?
Huh?
So then how are we gonna rectify this?
Well, that's the next question. I want to keep learning, but there's no reason he can't put that stuff in the computer. Other than the fact the sheriff and the sheriff don't like it.
Well, I think then we need to put a deadline. It gets on there in a month. It's not in there in a month, then we reconsider.
You can,
Because it should take, give them a month to
I
get the
think
data
that should be a
on.
good record, whether they
And
think it's
they, and they
useless
can
or not.
decide if they want him to
think it's useless,
participate,
okay.
because it's really at their point now. If
It's
they're
not
gonna
nothing,
want him.
we're talking about the mechanic. If you want him to come in next meeting, that's fine with me.
He's online.
Well, that's, he isn't here though, you know, you go ahead. So that's what you want. Right now, that's kind of the rule, put them online. Now, if the sheriff undershoots thinks it's ridiculous, it doesn't mean anything. I think there's some value to it.
But at this point, Bernie is his own department head.
That's correct.
And we've
What
asked
is
him to
it
put
that
it on.
enterprise
If the
really
job
wants?
does not
Exactly.
get done,
They want to know when the oil is changed.
We just want all the maintenance log on the
They want to know if
vehicles.
you put air in the tires.
yes.
Maintenance, when you're
log.
purchasing parts and making a replacement, log it. When you're doing an oil change, log it. Anything you're doing to maintenance of the vehicle, so that they know what's occurring with the vehicle, so that they can have a value to that vehicle, and then also give us a report at the end of the year with the cost of what our maintenance has cost us and what our potential value or
And if
savings could
we
be.
do this for the year or whatever, great. And we have decided we don't want to do that, we go back. We're only buying 2 vehicles right now. We can not do the program anymore after the first year, okay?
It's fine with me.
Well, it may be.
I'm not gonna be there for
Well,
the rest
that's,
of the year.
me neither.
Is there a problem with bringing this back up on the agenda?
Well, why,
To see if the work is done. He's our employee. So we need to see if the work gets done. If we have an employee and we're paying an employee to do a job and he's not doing the job that we are requesting, then we have another issue and it should come up again.
well, he does the maintenance records, and I don't.
It
see-
needs to be on
Well,
enterprise.
I have no problem putting it on the computer. It may be of value, it may not, but you can't
Judge
You
that.
can't evaluate anything unless you try the program. And
Exactly.
you haven't tried the program.
Exactly.
So I think that's the first step. If he's online, he's listening to the conversation. So,
Well, they're saying he's not being communicated with, so the communication would be, we expect him to use the enterprise program to put in the maintenance record. That is what I'm requesting. Is that valid? Is
that's
that
don't need to
okay?
be a motion. That was part of the program you approved.
Exactly,
you
but I mean,
can
that's an
dissect it if
understanding,
you
and
want.
it's clear and cut. He now has heard what we expect. The expectations have been set. Should
like
be
I
in the
said,
minutes
after-
as well, that that's please what we're
After the
asking
end-
him to do
after
at
you
this
guys
point.
can
in the
evaluate
minutes.
it next year. If you like it, you do. If you don't, you don't.
But for right now, in the minutes, this is what we're, because we've been hearing the poor communication. So the way to solve the poor communication is we'll put it in writing. He can keep a copy of the minutes, whatever. This is what we're expecting you to do. Follow the enterprise contract as we have already voted for. Complete the log online as requested by enterprise. And we need to see that there has been actual improvement
Well, like
in a month.
you
So
might,
by October's
you
meeting.
might not see value in it, but you gotta try it first.
Exactly,
You gotta try it first.
exactly.
Bernie came into the office, we sat down and talked, I explained how the program worked, I gave him a laptop from our office so he could have an updated one, because his was outdated and he was having issues getting it connected. We collected the hotspot from the building department, I gave that to him so he could have internet out of the shop. He said it was working successfully. We also ordered him an external CD-ROM, because he says sometimes he has to use that to program things, so that he could plug it into the laptop and utilize it to do his things. There was no issue. He said he would do it. He went through the training, he got to the right program, he said he got it set up. He used it for the building department truck, which is an old vehicle, not a leased vehicle. He's used it for that.
Well, I
The
guess.
problem is
Well,
that he's
no.
being instructed not to do it for the other
Let's
vehicles, and
let's
that's
just
where the
move on.
problem.
We'll just move on from that. We're done with that conversation. The board made it clear what we want done. Period.
Do I have your agreement that we can bring it up on October to look at if it?
Sure,
if it's
yeah.
done?
You want to put it back on the
Please.
agenda in 2 weeks, see if we got any
You need
movement
a
on it?
motion for that?
No. Put it on the agenda for then. Moving on. Personnel hires, rates and updates. That is on there, I believe, mostly. We got a $350,000 deficit. Right now, we haven't even discussed budget, period. I'd like to put on a freeze on all hiring until we get through the budget, see where we're at.
Makes sense.
Well, that's my opinion. I don't know what the rest of, what do you guys think down there? You think we should do that or just run business as usual?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to hear from department heads on that, but I would.
That's not, it's not a department head issue. Do you feel we need to look at the budget or just let them hire who they want? I don't care. If the board wants to.
No, I don't know the answer to that, Don.
Okay,
And
well,
that's why.
you're the commissioner. You're the commissioner. You think we should stop hiring? That's a question to you. You think we should hold up on hiring until we get through our budget?
Where are we in terms of who needs a hire right now? And I can't make that decision without knowing where we are in that regard.
Well, we can continue on as we're doing. If people are hired right now, the majority of the board says they're done first of the year, that don't make sense when we hire, if that person's gone. It's complicated his life. If that's what you think we should do, I think it's better just to hold up.
My notion to start with would be that, yeah, that's a good idea to put, to put a freeze on that. That's my first notion about that.
Okay.
But without any other input, if somebody else has some input about that, I'd like to hear it before I make a decision on a question that just came up.
Well, you knew that was coming up for the fact we lost the 1 millage.
Oh, I get that.
Okay, all right.
That and a whole lot of other stuff.
Okay.
Can we have a question?
No, we're not taking questions right now.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I have to take another 5 minutes.
Okay, let's take 10. So we can pay at 11 o'clock.
Dawn, can you turn them blowers off?
So climb right up there.
That is what's going on right now.
She was part-time, so if you're free, I just need to know, because Jerry did a whole lot of details.
I understand.
But, she's not, it's not for a new replacement, it's just for a new replacement. Just to replace one loss, so that's all.
Yeah, I don't judge it.
I think this was, we were talking,
Huh?
we're talking new hire.
And it would not affect that.
Okay. If it
Is that-
does,
that's a
you know,
question.
Right.
that was my only question on that.
No, I thought at this point in time, no, that doesn't affect new hires. We're not hiring anyone else.
It's in their budget, but who knows what next year's budget.
No,
It
that's
might
right.
change that
I mean,
person's
it could be-
position.
If you if you get
But
in
if
and.
it does, it does.
So no, I would say new hires. You're replacing one, so that's still open.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
And I don't know what happened first of the year. You got a new board. They might change everything.
Could change it.
Oh.
We don't know. All right, thanks, you guys.
Yeah, okay.
Enjoy your break. I gotta run.
Hey,
Thank you.
you were both fine.
Oh. Was the paperwork on that?
Oh, it was on the table, was it not?
Oh, was it?
Oh, no, no, you, the whole,
That was real small.
you mean the whole annual report?
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Not just who's working for.
I think this is the one.
Basic
Jody was
capabilities
looking
and saving
for.
money.
I think I
Oh,
read it.
you were not
Appreciate
here.
that, but.
What are you looking for,
Wait,
like the
sure.
PACE
Yes,
program?
wait, yeah, no,
Right here, right
don't
here.
you have
Sort of
two?
separate
Did Dell give you his
information.
copy?
Oh, perfect.
Can you take that one?
Now,
I'm
the PACE
sorry. I wrote
programs
that.
are not in there, but if you contact them and ask for the PACE program, they'll tell you all about it.
I
Okay,
think
cool.
he's
That's
saving
it.
more than $4,000.
And you
Thought it
remember
might be
what
helpful
PACE
for
stands
And
for?
that's purchase of cars, and leasing
No.
cars, that you're gaining.
I had to write it down
More
myself,
than that.
and I belonged in the,
They send out
it
that
stands for the
maintenance,
program,
As well as.
all
But if you don't put in the data, can you
inclusive
track it and say for
Yeah.
sure?
care.
Well, and I think.
That's what we want.
They
Yeah.
should burn it,
Okay.
burning it out of the middle.
That's
of
not
it
in
as a
there, but
name,
they're
because
with
he's
this
inputting
program,
information.
Okay, so
and
she can just.
contact them
It's not
and they'll
getting
get
to
you,
You know,
right
things-
down
Not
the
inputting
right
information,
slot
he's
for
just leaving
who
it
you
on
want
paper.
to.
And I think the
All right.
sheriff.
It's a
goes,
fabulous
yes, they have
program.
all the vehicles.
All right, great.
And
There's
all
only,
that, I think-
I just want to make
There's
sure
sort
that
of
we're
any
giving people
information.
information.
I think
that
there's
they
only
use
3
contract.
vehicles that aren't
No
used for the
services
sheriff's
there.
department. Mine
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
building permit and
Yeah.
the.
Okay, thank
Well, it's
you.
just like, in my mind,
You're
too, when
welcome.
it comes back, you're getting a new pickup, that's gonna be for the courthouse.
The building department. Yep.
We put more miles on a vehicle. Oh, somebody's
Oh,
got to name,
God.
somebody's got to name priorities on vehicle use too.
No,
Should-
the other vehicles are
That's all right, we went on the record.
this much.
And we're bringing it
Yeah.
back. in the-
Doing me just like a truck though.
That's what
If
we-
you know, what's the matter with one of the old police cars,
Then we're gonna watch
you know, to go to the building visits, I mean, how many trips did he make out? It's kind of summer, yeah, it's really busy. Maybe he's better off to be paid for the mile. You know, those are a lot of.
I'm not playing this.
you,
Exactly. They're the ones that want to run the whole county.
And it is.
Well, we've got some, we had have a negotiation talk
About
completed,
transparency and
talk,
honesty.
not dictating on, what's happening with COLA and center. We need to be able to kind of
After
figure out
the
what's
election,
happening.
Angela
Just understand.
Why do you think?
Well, that's this one too.
That's
Well,
why.
we don't need to
Yeah.
know everything.
It's cold, isn't it?
But it's
Suffered
just
this
that,
for 4 years now.
That's
You'll
why I
have
wear a
things
sweater.
happen.
You'll
I
freeze,
know, this
there's
one
ours
does
right
too.
there.
Oh, well, mine is directly over my head.
Yeah.
Cheryl, you gotta be freezing in that spot.
You know,
Yeah, it's gonna
it did
affect,
get chilly a little bit when I
money
seen Dawn
comes to
put her jacket on. I was kind of thinking the same thing, but
We're
Yeah.
not
Growing
talking
goosebumps.
about chopping a lot of money off,
No,
but it's just that, well, we need to know what condition
I knew it was
are
gonna be
you in.
cool.
Did you
so I
give
said, I am
raises to
not leaving
everybody?
home without
Now
my
you
hoodie
have enough
today.
money, kind of like, we just need to understand, but as far as, I mean, our center, we've done as much homework,
Well, we can go to the
insulated,
Utah store if we want to.
I mean, we've done everything we could do right now, inflation. That's what's
Sure,
driving
rather than think we're right up.
everything. But it's, people like to look at it. Honestly, that's all.
is there any more info I can get for you that you don't have?
Well, not really. He's helped a lot. So it just, a lot of history makes it, as you know, being in a position really helps you make decisions and knowledge of. Cool heads make a big difference. Being able to talk. And all things. But, you have multitasking here, kind of a process. Throw things at you and all of a sudden, maybe one person's been in discussion. You guys haven't been. Well, I know, and you need to be quiet, kind of thing. No, we need to know what you know. It's like, well, everybody said things have happened for over 2 years. Does everybody know what's happened for 2 years? How long you been? 2 years. Well, then, so I'm getting at, so there's such every year there's more piled on.
17. Yeah. That's public.
It sets history up.
Yeah.
So.
I need to get on there today, actually, not from like.
Just like
a
say.
year back on, to see how much more interest we have, but I hope we have some good stuff coming in, because if not, it's just gonna keep prolonging it. Yeah, we're doing 2 of them. We have 2.
I have a different work ethic.
yeah, you'll,
So I'm putting my work ethic on something.
I think that's
Yeah. You guys should download it the full package, because we can see how much they
But no,
download,
thank you.
but none that have.
Yeah,
some
because
changes.
it's just a lot of research.
Some of these submitted the last week, because it takes time to
Somebody
prepare
doesn't
them,
control
but
fishes. You gotta be so much.
Or you could probably just getting a little close.
When we're one of the centers, we're just trying to figure out where.
But
You go to
it's
a
tough
board
when
meeting,
you-
it's just like here.
So that,
Well, it's just right here.
requirements
You have a
where,
board meeting,
no,
somebody knows more information.
And a lot of contractors.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
What day?
Have someone.
What date on it? I write that down on my calendar. Oh, boy.
Oh, no, I'm very anti.
But they have one person.
I know,
that's
but
Step back,
still
step back.
something.
Now I can't catch up, I'll do it
You
again.
know?
I've gotten a
And I'm
phone
sure
call.
some-
I know.
How are you doing?
Yes.
I don't know, you tell me.
Yes. I just want-
Can't call you a commissioner.
Yes, I should get going.
Well,
Back to
There's
deputy.
4 months left.
Yeah.
Back to deputy.
I think most of it's
no.
done.
You're not gonna be deputy salary anymore?
Yeah, and just to get ahead of the
No.
project. 'cause
Who's
we're still
running for
projected
you,
to be
Lewis?
done by,
Oh,
the fall
is
of
that-
next year.
That's
what we want
When's the
here.
valve? The valve's in November.
Yeah, which we wanted to do it over a year and a half.
And
Yeah,
roads,
by
whoever
2026,
says.
but we're projecting it.
I
to
don't reached out.
2025. So taking it.
She's not been to a meeting yet. I don't know if she participates via Zoom.
I reached out.
During the park months, and that's not what we wanted.
To compress the construction.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Dawn.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank
I mean,
you.
the-
That feels so much better.
Do you have any input on
Stuff,
hiring?
but The playground, all the kids.
I don't know that anybody's looking to hire anybody right now.
Yeah, and I don't.
But my concern would be that if you did someone, are you able to hire?
I didn't think
I
about that.
gather that's.
I think that's
I
why you
gather
said so.
maybe the people that you had was okay.
Yep, that's what I thought.
At least that's
Thank
gonna
you.
be my next question. I think that's.
Yeah, that's, like I said, that's the thing.
I thought I was the only one that was cold, you know. I'm
Then
always
are you
cold.
able to?
Ask Bill.
I was cold too.
So is it a
Well,
freeze
yes.
on
I
any new
wouldn't sit in the
positions
sun
or
just
is it
to roll
freeze
up
on
That's my
any?
understanding.
Believe me, that's, I only had 2 cups of coffee.
So
And if
I
that's
don't
the
really
case,
have a lot of
I'm
input. I have a question.
When you said that, I was gonna say, aren't you glad you didn't take that third cup of coffee out of her for two?
Not only am I glad, everybody here should be glad.
Got to get up and move again.
Particulars.
Well, when you get cold, when you get cold, it makes you happy.
Mm-hmm. I used to hate that when you're out snowmobiling, you're all bundled up, like, uh-oh, now we gotta go.
I hate it during hunting. I'm all sad. And the bewitching hours come in. And then you're getting a little chilly and the weather goes. We gotta step out of the barn.
Oh. That's what you're like, I wish I were the pirates. Well, this year, it's okay. Next year, no, it's next year that we have to.
Do you know when the meeting is going to be?
A readout. And I'm standing there.
I'm not sure.
Guns in the blinds. I'm standing there. I have to pee. No gun.
Where is it gonna be?
And I
And
suppose
you
if you
said-
double check it now and someone wants to ask, I have no idea what to get off.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but I'm
Now,
going
the-
down
you're
here
an office of two.
to do the verb.
Get one person handle it, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
No, exactly, so you would be retired. Yeah. That's always a plus. Or that.
Gary, you're gonna miss this place, buddy.
No, I'm not.
I think you should sign up for another 10, 12 years.
Right.
I'm not gonna miss.
Because there are some that take it one. Or remote, right, but they get done if they're not.
Look back at all these fond memories going, oh yeah, I remember.
Oh,
those
I
times."
do have some good memories.
Yeah.
Donna, do we have a landfill meeting?
Well,
No, we don't have one tomorrow. I don't, for my report.
we met. We didn't do much. We went,
Do we ever?
No, we didn't have much, but we did have a meeting.
So I write that down.
Yeah.
see where we were.
We're back in session now, so.
Still about personnel.
Okay,
Yeah.
but like I said, my motion was just new hires. It's new hires.
There is
Not
a motion.
replacing.
You didn't make a motion.
I'm gonna make, did I make a motion? I'll make a
No,
motion.
there was no
That
motion.
Until the budget's set, we're not gonna do any new hires. Now, the judge is
Done.
just, huh?
Please state your motion, because I don't have anything about a motion. You were recommending something and that was kind of. where
Okay.
it got left.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion. We got $350,000 deficit. The board's gonna make a decision how we're gonna cover that or make it up or whatever we do. I think it's prudent not to make any more new hires. The exception to that would be if, I think, Dallas said, if somebody right now, if somebody died in the Register of Deeds office, that would be replaced, because that's got its position there. We're talking about new hires. Now that the judge has one, she wants to play that.
So
Now, that person-
replacements are okay, but not new
replacement
hires.
for right now, that person still might be gone for, we don't know yet.
Right, but you're.
Yeah, I told the judge that. I says, you can hire her, but she may be gone first of the year. I don't know what the board's gonna do. So that was my thing, for any new hires, they're not gonna hire any. And I think y'all, you understand that now? That's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, now is there any discussion on the motion?
So what exactly?
I
is
don't
it?
know.
Yeah, it's gotta be-
Place a hiring freeze?
Okay,
I guess.
why do that, hiring freeze on all new people,
Okay.
not replacements.
So I can understand the confusion because if you're replacing somebody, it's still considered a new hire. So the wording doesn't really work.
Yeah, you're right, the wording, I don't know, how you wanna word that? We're not adding more people, would that be better
No
for you?
additional.
No, new positions.
Why don't you just do this? Why don't you, instead of even putting just put a hire freeze and that the board will review on a case by case basis.
There you go.
Exactly.
Okay, we do that. Let's do that. That's my motion. Go hire freeze and case by case.
And I'll second that.
And I guess my concern is hiring any new people, and then 3 months later, they're gone. I don't like that,
No.
you know, because we don't know what we're gonna do yet. So that's my concern there. Anyway, that's my motion. You understand that, Sean?
I have down, I'm sorry, who seconded? Lloyd. Okay, so it's a place a hiring freeze. And review, do a case by case.
Yeah.
Review.
Yep. That's my motion. And we have a second today, and more discussion. Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, nays, motion carried.
Okay, so now continuing with the personnel, we do have a case. Probate lost their part-time person. She took a position at the end of August, at the Hillman Schools, and so they weren't gonna hire anybody, at the time, when I first talked to Jody, but now she said she was posting, an ad to replace that person.
That's gonna be by case, but we just talked to the judge on that. We know that.
Yep, I know, but this
Yeah,
kind of
that'll
falls
be-
into that,
that'll
so
be
you guys will have to
coming
review
out
this. So they would be advertising for a replacement for a part-time person in that
I
office.
did tell the judge, I says, you know, I have no problem replacing her, but she might be gone first of the year, and the judge is aware of that.
Okay. Yeah, when I spoke with Jody, she didn't want to hire somebody yet because she was still kind of in the process of training their other new person they
I
have in
think
there.
it's getting so close now that it'll be a while probably for to hire someone, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I'm just letting you know on that one. So if you want to okay that hire, this is one of those situations, case by case, you gotta make a motion to do so.
I would make a motion that the judge rehire
Part-time.
the part-time position that they just bought.
I'll support.
We have a motion supporting discussion. Hearing and call for vote. All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, nays, motion carried.
Okay.
Anything else under that?
Yep, so another was, there was a conversation, after Lieutenant Stanley retired. They asked to have her come back as a part-time correction officer at the, sheriff's department, and it would have messed up her retirement. And then I got a request again, I'm trying to look at the date. In August, the middle of August, that they wanted to hire, they're asking again to hire Lori Stanley as a part-time on-call corrections officer. The issue is that since when she retired, they immediately asked, put a request in to put her as a part-time corrections officer. It shows as an informal agreement to return to work, and that's one of the IRS guidelines that MERS says you can't do. So I would advise that we shouldn't do that because it could jeopardize Ms. Stanley's retirement. That's my suggestion. So I don't know how you guys wanted to proceed with that.
Anything else on that?
Okay. And then the other, just FYI, I got a letter from the sheriff's department also that ORV patrol, they were requesting to move the rate for part-time or full-time MPOS licensed patrol officers to $39.78 an hour.
What, 39 what?
$39.78.
What's it currently?
That's time and a half for
$35.50.
the deputies. That's been that way for some time. It was never always that way, but it's been that way for some time now. If they work it, they get time and a half for snowmobile or I guess I'd approve it. Personally, I'll approve one more time, but we're getting up there with benefits and everything. You're looking over $50 some an hour,
Well, this is how many hours?
whatever they work.
Right, but I mean, this ORV
Well,
program
you
has,
do-
it has a,
So there's there's so much money in each position,
Correct.
so you divide that by $55 per hour, and then you see how many hours they're gonna work. So we're getting to the point now, it'd be a lot less patrol hours, the more we give them.
that, I guess that's my question.
It's
So what are
and I
the,
have no problem with this one. And that's about twice what anyone else pays. They're in the $20-25 range.
No, because somebody was
So
telling me that they do it for another county and it's not anywhere.
No,
what we
that's,
pay.
we checked that last year, and it was between 20 and 25. That would make our people almost $40 an hour.
So if you have a deputy do it, you're gonna have to pay them the overtime rate.
That's,
Just
well, you don't
union.
have to, but
Well-
that's how we've been doing it, okay?
Well, it's in the union contract. So if they're gonna do it, it's considered overtime for them. They would get paid their overtime rate.
You'd have to get somebody.
Now, your seasonal
Can't do that.
people would not be,
Well, that's, yeah, seasonal people, what do they get paid?
they're getting paid that same rate.
Well, that don't make sense, does it, Sheriff?
Yes, well, you have to remember, you don't, the amount of participation in the program is basically a majority of it is our full-time outside of, Deputy Collier at this point. So that's about the only seasonal that we have at this point. Yes, that individual makes the same amount, and you're right, we set that rate at essentially time and a half because they are working in excess. This is beyond their work day. It's not part of their work day. So it is not overtime through general fund, and 100% of this is through the grant. Now, that ORV grant is
44.50.
yeah, I mean, it's $40,000. So as far as the amount of patrol time, we've never come up to a point where, oh, we don't have enough, because that is by far our largest grant. So it's self-funded, and it allows for our team to pick up those hours outside of their workday.
And I said, well, we probably should do a motion on that. I would think, I'll make the motion that it goes to, what was it, 39?
39.78.
I'll make that motion that we pay the specials that amount this time around, and then next year will be someone else's issue, so my motion.
Support.
Support, any more discussion? Hearing and call for a vote, all in favor, say yes.
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 No.
Hold on a second, hold on. Still trying to do my, finish up my notes. Okay, and you are roll call, if that's what you're doing, let's. Do a roll call, because it's.
Okay, yes, do a roll call.
So Hardee's, yes. Volster,
Yeah.
Edwards.
Yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
Peltier,
No.
Okay, motion carried. The only other issue is that your non-union people, I don't know how many you got doing that. If you're paying them the same, that might be an issue with the board. I don't know.
Well, they're still, currently they're all MCOL certified.
But it
I
doesn't
think the
matter,
only-
they're not in the union, Chad.
Well, the union would, I guess, agree with that if they ever wanted to.
You can't, what I'm trying to say is that they should get the same amount of money as the union members get for working it. That's, they're.
I guess the union, I would, again, it's a grant program. It's outside of the traditional operations of the sheriff's office. So it's not even a union, I guess, decision. It's the office decision, whether we want to pay $5 an hour or $40 an hour. It's making sure we can facilitate coverage on the trails. So that's, like you said, that's why we've traditionally tried to keep it at that time and a half, because 99% of it is being facilitated. Well, a lot of it is being facilitated through full-time. Now, right now, we have a very active Deputy Collier, so he's picking up a lot of hours, but it hasn't always been that way. It just depends on where the grant people are, I guess, is the easiest way to say that.
So do you?
I mean, I don't know. It wouldn't be a union issue, I guess, is all.
No, I don't think so. That's kind of a gray area.
Yeah.
You know, but we've kind of went along with that for some time now for the union members.
Never, right.
But we never talked about the non-union.
Yeah, and the
Never
way
done that.
we've always done it is the full-time always have opportunity, they have priority for patrol.
Right.
So,
Do you utilize the entire $40,000?
we try to use absolutely as much as we can, yes.
And what
And
happened?
there's a portion of that is we're able to obtain like equipment for ORV as well. So we, try to utilize that, as, whether it's, we've tried to upgrade some of our stuff this year, updating our GPS for search and rescue and stuff like that when it's being utilized through ORV.
If you don't utilize it,
Goes back to the state.
then it goes back.
It's a reimbursement grant, so they give you a portion of it up front, and then we send reports in, and then they reimburse you up until what you expend.
And how many non-union people do you have doing that?
What would you say?
3 that are eligible, 1 that's actively only doing it right this year.
Who does your Marine?
Tim McDonald's the primary, and he's in charge of it.
Well, he's not union.
So that's why I had my hand raised. I was just gonna add a little context to this. There's 3 grant patrol divisions, and the amount awarded is predicated on the amount of license sales. For example, your registrations on your boats throughout the state will be full of money that they're gonna give for Marine Patrol. The ORV and trail stickers, that will go directly to the ORV program. One of my frustrations as one of the users of this program is side-by-sides exploded the ORV world. So suddenly there was a ton of money in the ORV world. So I've got $40,000 to spend in one summer in ORV, but yet I've got, and I'm just throwing numbers off the top of my head, about 15,000 for Marine Patrol, and then we end up getting like 1,500 for snowmobile patrol because there's just no snow and they're not selling as many. So just so you guys know, we're doing this to take care of the employees and to encourage them to do this. But if you don't spend that money, it goes directly back to the state and you never see it again.
Right.
So this is a win-win for the county.
Yeah. Anything else? Board?
How much money is, how much revenue is generated for the county through that program?
I'm sorry?
There's no
Oh.
revenue, it's a
There's no
wash.
revenue.
So the expenses that we use for Marine or RV snowmobile, it's money in, money out. It's not revenue earned for the county. We don't get a revenue on top of that. It's just to pay for the expenses to do that patrol and to purchase equipment
Okay.
and pay for gas.
Yeah, it
What-
takes.
Now, would there be revenue if tickets were written?
I don't know the answer to
I
that
don't know how they
question.
rate. I think we'd give a portion if they rate tickets.
Yeah,
It's under the ordinance, yeah.
So it's not strictly no revenue, it's just. a matter
I
of-
think we get a little.
Yeah, the
revenue.
grant doesn't give you money, but I
A
guess
grant
that
doesn't
is-
give you.
Nothing to speak of. Okay, where we at on that? Are we,
Recount for it.
would you pass a motion for the, I can't remember now, we talked so much. For the-
Yeah, you'd have to roll call.
We get the roll call.
Oh, we're doing the roll call, right? For
We
the.
already did it.
We
Okay,
did.
we're done there. Okay, let's move on. Let's see, enterprise, we done with that? Anything else, sir?
Okay.
Done?
Yep.
Okay, next item under old business, we have a FOIA request to the clerk and the status of that, I guess. I've heard several different things on it now, and I guess that's where we're at. I guess that's. Madam Clerk.
About
Recount. There is-
Well, recount, I mean, that's part of the FOIA request, I think, right?
No,
No, those are two
they're
different.
separate things.
Okay,
But I did receive, so what is the topic?
well, it's a recount.
Okay,
Oh, the topic.
is it had to do with, I did send an email about paying.
Yeah, it's about your email,
Okay.
about paying payment for.
All right.
Cheryl sent an email saying that about the recount for a portion of Montmorency. I'll just read it. A recount for a portion of the Montmorency County Treasurer position has been scheduled for Thursday, September 12th, and I have hired 3 members to be on the recount team. They need to be paid, and I am requesting to be paid the same per diem as other board members, $60 half, 120 full day, and mileage based on the current county rate. I anticipate the recount to not take longer than half a day. This was not an anticipated expense, and there may need to be some budget adjustments made. The requester of the recount did pay $500, which went into clerk services. If this needs prior approval, please add on to this week's board's agenda. Any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, when do they get paid now?
We haven't had one done since 2016.
Oh, okay, so what is your, the ones.
So
that-
canvassers,
Canvassers, what do they get paid?
They get paid the same as you guys.
Okay,
So
all right.
any board that you've appointed or something, typically they make whatever the board makes.
And our recount board is gonna be the board of canvassers, is that?
No,
No,
no, that's
somebody else.
separate. The board of canvassers, the board of canvassers are, they are not personally doing the recount. I have a recount team.
Okay,
They have to deal with some other issues if they come up during the process.
okay,
So they are not members of the actual recount team.
okay.
So I have 3 people that will be there to do the actual counting, and then if there's any challengers or whatever may come up, then that goes to the board, and then, so they're there getting paid as well.
Okay.
But they already have their rate set.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking about the 3 people
All right.
that I need to hire for the actual count.
Who are these people being hired?
It's irrelevant who's being hired.
Well, it is, are they
I
So
have
they're
two
just
township
random.
clerks who are, and one poll worker.
Okay, because when I was looking at the Michigan Bureau of Elections, it says the Board of County Canvassers is responsible for the people. Whether the recount, who the people will be. It says a part of all counties precincts.
If there was any questions, Mary, I'd certainly. You could
No, I'm just
certainly
saying, it
make contact
says
with me,
the
but my correspondence with the state and the review of the materials is that it is the Board of Canvassers are made aware that there is a recount made and they direct me to get that going.
And they say,
And
yeah, so
regarding
staff, and it says
everything.
staff, and I guess that's why I'm saying. Correct. So staff is defined as the people you hire versus your own staff, I guess the question.
Yes.
And the canvassers are there.
Who are the 3 people that you hired?
Oh, she said 2 township.
I'm looking,
clerks.
I have requested 2 township clerks to participate, as well as 1 poll worker.
And what
So
are the
there's 3.
names?
I have Carleen Klein coming. And I have Connie Brandt, and then Terry King, I believe is my other one.
Request is that they're paid the same amount as the canvassers.
That's what I'm requesting, yes. Or if there's something else you have in mind, then let me know, but
Right, so.
there's nothing that says what they get paid. so.
You're looking for a motion to pay them what you suggested. Is that
Correct.
I would make that motion that we pay them exactly what you have suggested.
I'll support it.
We have a motion and support. It's, we'll do a. roll call.
Discussion?
Well, discussion. Is there any discussion on that?
It is coming out of our budget, or is it coming out of the clerk's budget?
So we had a $500 requester money, so it would come out of that money. We had to do a budget adjustment. No, she said she put it in clerk services. So that money went into clerk services, and so we would just add an expense line for that to pay, because we're going to pay the canvassers, obviously, while they're there, because they have to be present for the recount, supervise, and then you use that money.
So, and the $500 that is put up, that's, we keep that $500 regardless of the outcome?
No.
That's right. So the $500 goes away if the recount is different.
So the question I
That's
guess was
just
that.
different, or if it changes the outcome?
Has to change the outcome.
So if it changes the outcome, then we gotta find $500 somewhere else.
So the question was, Mary had asked who the staff, it says in the manual, and she asked, the staff is, clerk staff is supposed to do the count on the supervision of the Board of Canvassers according to the elections manual. So you have an hourly wage, you pay the staff. If these people are not actually employees of the county, how would you pay them? Are we supposed to utilize staff and pay them their hourly wage, or are we supposed to bring in new people and pay them the per diem rates that we're paying canvassers? That was the question, I think.
Right, because that's what it says. It says the recount is handled by the county clerk's staff. Doesn't say new people, it says staff. That's my question.
Cheryl?
Well, I only have 3 staff. I can't close my office for a recount. So typically in the past, if we've had a recount, you have to hire outside sources. And those typically, the people that are most knowledgeable about the process of elections could be either your poll workers or your township clerks. So that's why I have.
So these people would be coming on as part of the clerk's staff, is that?
They'll be sworn in. I mean, they'll be sworn in, but they're not gonna be.
A temporary group of folks that become part of the clerk's staff and then just for a temporary.
If that's how you want to think of them, yes, they're the recount team, they'll be sworn in, they have a job to do. I
So they
cannot
are sworn in
facilitate
by
that
the-
with my current staff, I only have so many people in the office.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that I can't close my office.
Yeah, so they're sworn in as deputy clerks,
They're
yes.
sworn in to, yeah, they do it, take an oath of office to do this position. Not that they're necessarily deputized.
They're not gonna
My
become employees,
office.
they'd be paid as vendors.
Right.
Well, I guess that is
It's a
up to you,
temporary,
I don't know how you want to
temporary
handle it.
contractual positions.
Commissioner Hardee's, we do have a canvasser here if you had questions for him.
Yeah, what is your, what does staff is defined as?
Well, it's, okay, I'll read the recount process. Board of County Canvassers of the is responsible for laying out specific recount process to be followed by the county. The board must ensure that all interested parties or representatives, that would be the petitioner and the other candidate, are present at the recount. The board should determine, the Board of Canvassers, which assistants or staff members will conduct the recount. Whether the recount will be conducted by hand, electronic tabulation, or both. And who will answer procedural questions from either the staff or the interested parties. And how challenges to be determined by assistants or staff will be recorded or resolved. So at the recount,
What document are you looking at?
this is the July 22.
Okay, well, there's
And
been an
it is- no.
updated one.
The update does not cover anything on recount.
There
It
is.
does not.
Well, the one I
Under the
downloaded
law.
is August 24.
Yep, I provided you with that one too, Doc. That just came. like 2 weeks
Well, it
ago.
says the same thing that he read, which assistants or staff members will conduct the recount.
So the way I see it, under the staff of the clerk. The original thing I read said the staff of the clerk would conduct the recount. However, the clerk could also designate others to do that. And the staff the people to do the recount need to be trained. You need to be familiar with the election process. And so I believe the clerks and the worker are trained.
So you have no problem with the temporary.
I don't, but our board would have to make that decision.
Right, but you feel that it fits the letter of the law.
Yeah, I believe so. Okay. So, and that's the way we've done it in the past. And it sounds like that's the proper way to do it, so I think we're on the right track.
You have a motion, just so we can pay the staff, I believe, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna make the motion.
Yeah, there you
I have a motion.
We'll just pay them as vendors. If they're bringing them in, they wouldn't become employees, they'd just be vendors and we'll pay them the 60.
You need a motion to that?
We have a motion.
We have a motion and a
Yep.
second.
And then a second?
Yep.
Any more
That
discussion?
was me.
All in favor, say yes.
Roll call.
Oh,
Yeah.
roll call, do a roll call.
Bolster,
Yes.
Edwards,
Yes.
Gerard,
Yes.
Peltier,
Yes.
Hardee's.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, anything else? Matt? Okay, we're down to the reports. Controller?
All right, I'll go through this pretty quickly. Fiscal 25 budget, the budget request template has been sent out to everyone and deadline to have it returned is Wednesday, September 18th, so I can get it put together for the budget committee review. The secondary road patrol SRP fiscal 25 grant agreement has been approved and submitted to the state for review. There was a request from the union to waive the 120-day waiting period for Tom Santer for his leave time. And that was approved and signed by the sheriff and the union. the interlocal agreement that we have with the multi-district for the materials management plan. We said in the agreement, we'd pay them $70,000. That's what we had initially said we would take care of. That is money we're gonna be getting from the state every year, 70,000 for the timeline. They sent their first invoice, $8,000, so that'll be included in the next claims, but they will not bill us for the remainder of 62 until we've received the money from the state. So just FYI that'll have to get an adjustment.
That'll be like a pass through.
Yep. I emailed the board the Klaus summons about the plat amendment for the Ace Hardware building, that roadway pass. Our attorney's answering that summons for us and taking care of it. You guys have the whole summons in your email. The fiscal 23 MERS actuarial. So I've reviewed that actuarial and we're still at 65% funded. Our annual contribution payment though will be increasing from $639,264 to $697,020. It's an increase of $57,756 that we'll have to come up with for the fiscal 25 budget. It also shows in our actuarial that Division 10 is overfunded by $19,431, and this is just because of if somebody's passed away that was in that division and or something happened, so the money becomes available. So our Division 1 is actually the highest unfunded liability, so I'm going to have that money transferred to that division to help bring that balance down. Just FYI on that. I also emailed you guys a copy of that report. Next up is the jury duty with prepaid cards that was discussed in finance. So I'll read what I wrote here. For our time and cost savings, we reached out to Rapid Financial Solutions, same vendor that handles district court and the treasurer's office, to get information on costs for handling our jury duty restitution and bonds with prepaid cards. The cost is the same rate as a stamp would cost. They work with the GIS system in the clerk's office to download the information right into a spreadsheet that can then be uploaded to the site, and all the cards are loaded. Jurors receive their cards when they show up for jury duty, and the funds are loaded onto the cards. This would reduce the time in putting in each individual juror's information in the vendor system, cutting checks, mailing them, sometimes getting lost in the mail and reprinting, voiding multiple checks due to errors when given the wrong information to be input, and escheatment because of the small amounts and the checks not being cashed. Rapid will train everyone on how the system works. Access to GIS is needed to do this because the information comes from there. Our office does not have the system in order to download the information. District Court offered their assistance in setting this up since they utilize it already for the same thing. The easiest way to set it up was to walk through an actual card process, so I suggested using the restitution checks that were just requested to us. They wouldn't be printed until 9/6, so it gave some time to try it out and actually go through the process once to see if it worked. All the assistance has been offered, and this will save the county both time and money, but we have been blocked by the clerk to move forward. If our office is going to handle setting up the card, then we need access to GIS system and coordination from the clerk's office to have one of our staff present for jury duty to hand out the cards, if that's what they want us to take care of. So we can use the cards and do them when our staff can do them, but we're gonna have to have coordination on jury days and access to that system in order to get the information and upload it.
And the district court already utilizes this?
The district court and the treasurer's office both utilize it.
Any problem with the system?
No, it's very simple. Kristen said that, it makes it very easy. The jurors are happy because they walk out with their payment that day.
You're not waiting for anything. So what is the process? If you use it, what is the walkthrough for?
It's a spreadsheet. You just put the information on, which we don't use JIS in my office either, so I don't know how that would work for them. But you just put it on a spreadsheet, you send it out. Put the money on the card and hand it to them or mail it to them in our case.
So when Rapid Solutions explained it, they said that they work with JIS. There's literally, instead of them printing a report, instead they would just download into an Excel spreadsheet, and then there's a little scanner. So it's plugged into their computer. They scan the card and it attaches it to a person, and they move and scan the card. And so then they're all attached, the name's on it, and then it goes, and then it becomes Rapid's problem. If they lose the card, they'll replace it. Those people get that little packet of information with the card, and it's automatically loaded into them for them.
And the treasurer's office likes it too, because the achievements, the majority of the achievements are from jury duty, from them $15, $10, whatever, checks that don't end up getting cashed and they got lost and no one ever wants them back or anything else. So we have to escheat that money to the state. And, rather than have that on our books and have to go through that whole process, because it's quite a process. You have to send a certain amount of letters in a certain amount of time. And like I said, there's quite a process too. It eliminates that process,
because we no longer have to do that achievement. It takes it right off our books right from the beginning, and then Rapid Solutions has to achieve if someone doesn't use their card. That's a nice, efficient way of getting our achievements down too.
So how many cards do we have? Oh, I'm sorry. You said there was so many that needed to be done right now, and you said how many?
Well, there was just, because the cards came in along with the scanner, and Rapid said that they would actually
do it for
zoom in and walk them through the process, so there was a time to use those 6 restitutions to see how it's done, so if there was any issues or they didn't understand it, they could actually physically or like show them how it's done, rather than print the checks, because the checks weren't gonna be printed to this Friday anyways, so it was just a way to run it through. It's what happens once they get it on the spreadsheet, then that spreadsheet just uploaded to the website and it's hit processed. And then when it's processed, it sends a report to both all the office. It would go to the clerk's office, it would go to our office, it would go to the treasurer's office, so that they know, hey, this is the money that's going out. And here's for all the individual cards that it's going to. So there's your record for it. And then everybody walks away with their card right away instead of having to wait for a check to be cut or lose it in the mail or anything like that. And the person who gets the card, they can take it, they can use it at any place. They can even go to the bank and just request the money. So they can get their funds either way. And it costs a stamp. So we're not mailing anything anymore. We hand them a card and it costs us less and it takes less time.
Yeah, not processing a check. You don't have the ink and the paper and everything else for that, so.
One of the last jury duties we had to avoid like 20 checks just because of an error issue and then reprint. So, you know, that would stop that kind of thing from happening as well.
Those are all the upsides. What are the downsides?
District court's been using it for a few years now and they've had no issues. They find no problems with it. And actually Lucas had reached out to me probably a year ago and asked if it was something that they'd be able to do for their jury in circuit court. And I said, it's definitely something we can consider. We didn't pursue at that time. But I reached out to Rapid to ask what the cost was. And as soon as I got the information, I forwarded it to Cheryl and said that, you know, they could do the same process they do in district court for you, set you up and save us a lot of time and money.
So from your perspective, there is no downside. Is that correct?
That's a lot of savings.
Oh, are you ready for me?
Cheryl?
I guess as I went to the finance meeting on Tuesday. And like I said there, I'm not opposed to researching this option. I wasn't opposed to it from the beginning. I initially received the email from the controller's office on July 24th, basically telling me that they will no longer be cutting checks and this is what I'm going to do. I see this as a procedural change for my office. Again, I didn't say I was opposed to it. I did reach back out to her immediately and indicated that in my reply. Indicating that, I'll read it to you. It might be something I would consider in the future after having a chance to look at what it entails and make sure that it is compatible with my systems and not creating more work for my office. I utilize different computer systems than the district court for processes that you described. It would have been nice to have had this conversation or consulted ahead of time. I'm not prepared to move forward with changing my procedures at this time. Now, again, that was at the end of July. The response back was that she was making an accounting change, implementing an accounting change, and that she had emailed me as soon as she received the information. So I did reach out to the company. I actually set up a conference call with him. Julie and I sat down with him and he explained kind of what their program was. Got an idea of what it entails. I don't know that it's quite as simple as what she's making out to be. And that's fine too. Again, I wasn't opposed to researching. Would have been nice to have had the conversation and maybe had a little bit more time to look at it. This is just prior to, when was our August election? Right around the corner, right the following week or two.
I then reached out, after I talked to him, I then reached out also to JIS, which is our software people. Now, you have to keep in mind, for my jury, I actually utilize our old court system. That's not with what's now my new circuit court system. So we're talking about two different systems, software systems, when you're talking about jury versus restitution and bonds. Now, I was only researching the jury portion of it. I hadn't even looked at anything having to do with restitution or bonds at that point. I did also send out, immediately send out an email to some other clerks just to see if anybody's heard of this company. Do they utilize them? Do they use the same jury system I do? Because a lot of the courts, they utilize different software. Not everybody uses the same thing. I think I probably had 4 or 5 people respond back. 2 of which said, hey, they've been looking at it. Let me know what you find out. A couple of them said, yeah, we use it for our jury. And actually, it's been a good program. They like the service. They like the people that are very responsive. And they utilize the same jury system that I do. And I thought, okay, cool, great. That's somebody I can resource, I can maybe reach out to. In the meantime, the other point to that though was that on the restitution side of it, they said, no, we have not, I don't even know if restitution would even work. And one of the points brought up was that we have victims that might be a business or an insurance company or a school or whatnot. I don't know how getting a card in the mail versus getting a check would make some difference to them. I don't know that, but that was an issue that kind of was brought up to say, hey, I don't know, using it for restitution might not really be a great idea. And bonds at this point, I guess we have so few of them, and most of the time they're applied to the court costs, and that's just a vouchering. We don't have to have a check, so not a big deal. I then had another meeting. Julie and I sat down with the software people and discussed, hey, have you guys heard of this company? How does it, integrate into your system? Basically, where we left that conversation was they said, yeah, we can make it work, but it still sounded like to me that not only still am I utilizing my jury system, but now I'm also having to create another spreadsheet. I don't know that they actually talk to each other. And that's where we kind of left off. The guy from Rapid Financial or whatever this company's name is, him, myself and Julie and JIS were supposed to sit down and have another Zoom conference just to see, hey, what is it his company need to get into for JIS, et cetera. And I shot off an email after that to the guy just to let him know, hey, here's where what we're gonna do next. That email got kicked back. I don't know if I wrote something down wrong as far as her email, whatever, but twice I tried to email them to say, hey, let's try and look at this and get it set up. Of course, then election came and I've been busy ever since. So I guess when it showed up in my office this past week, basically saying, here you go, here's what you're gonna use. Again, I said I'm not opposed to researching it. I really wish that, it sounds like to me at this point, it's 78 cents a card. Is there gonna be, would it save on postage? Sure. You're still gonna have, there's still an expense to it. So, how many jury trials do we have? Fortunately, we've only maybe had 3 or 4 per year. So we're not talking a lot either, as far as that goes. At this point, without being able to move forward and meet with those software people to understand how is it going to integrate with my system, district court uses a totally different system than I do. I don't know what their procedure was before this. Maybe they already created a spreadsheet to pay their people. I don't know. This would entail somebody from my office standing out and checking in the jurors, which usually is a function of the jury officer. So what typically happens at a jury trial is the jury officer is standing out in the hallway, they are checking in the jurors. This would require one of my staff to actually check them in and assign Joe a card, Susie a card, whatever, and log what that number is that they've been given. And then after that process is done, then later in the day, that log of who was given assigned what cards would then have to be entered into the spreadsheet format, and then
upload it to this guy's program and then possibly then figure out how does it integrate with my program, because I also have to show that these people got paid in my system. So I guess I'm gonna leave it there. I wasn't ready to move forward with doing anything with restitution. So that's when I came to the finance and said, hey, these checks really need to be done for restitution for the victims. Again, but the point is that these conversations are not being held ahead of time. Why? I don't understand what the difficulty is in picking up the phone and saying, hey, Cheryl, we're looking at this cool program. Can we get together and research it together and see if it's something that's going to work? That is not what is happening. That has not been happening for the last 2.5 years. So you wonder why there's resistance? That's why. I mean, they're procedural issues. And I'm sorry, I'm the department head. I determine the procedural issues. Again, I'm not opposed to it, but really, I would like some more time to get research it.
Okay, I think the question is now that you can do it in your office. Or you-
No, we don't have access to JIS.
I don't think you need access to JIS.
Okay, so this is the problem. When I got the information, we talked about in finance, we said it would be a good idea to look into. So as soon as I got information from Rapid, I'll read you my emails because mine always get skipped over when we're talking about this. I said, good morning, due to the increasing cost of postage, mail issues and achievement, the county has contracted with Rapid Financial Solutions to provide a prepaid debit card for jury duty payments, restitution payments, and bonds payable. We're not going to cut checks for these items. The cost of the jury cards is that of a stamp and will allow for a more efficient process to get these payments taken care of, saving the county both time and money. District Court is already utilizing the program along with the treasurer's office, and they have reported no issues, and both say the process is very easy to do. Justin Miller from Rapid will do an online training with the office on how the process works. Its program is web-based and answer any questions you may have. The system is compatible with the JIS. You'll be able to upload an Excel spreadsheet with information provided by your system right into the program to activate the cards. You will hand the card and a pamphlet right to each juror as they walk through the door. Once your office has uploaded the spreadsheet and accepted the payments, an email report will be sent to both your office and our office to post the transaction. If you have questions about how it works within a department in our county, Kristen said she'd be happy to talk to you. And as soon as I have specific information on when the scanner and cards would be shipped, I'll let you know, and Justin will reach out directly to set up a time for a training on the program. And then the next email, I said that this is an accounting change because we didn't want to keep cutting checks. And I emailed you as soon as I got all the information on the cost, and we'll provide you with materials. We send them to me. Our office will be more than happy to assist you with any training or information you need along with setting up the process. We can work together and make sure it goes seamlessly, and will be less work for everyone involved. The cost savings is a great benefit to the county as well. I've offered our staff to come down and help and do this, and if we need to take care of it. It wasn't just, you're doing it, we'll help. Other departments have asked that they'd help. The problem is when we say we'll help, we get pushed back instead. This is a big savings to the county of both time and money for doing it. When I gave all the contact information to Justin to reach out directly to Cheryl so that they could do a Zoom training online to see how the program works, learn about it, ask all the questions they had. He said he would set up any kind of trainings that they would like to know more about the program, and he did that. They talked to him. It's not a spreadsheet that we have to create. It's a spreadsheet already created by Rapid. So they have the template, and the information is downloadable right from the system into the spreadsheet. Now when that information is put in the spreadsheet, you scan the card and it attaches it to a name on the person, and you write the name on the card. So when the jurors come in, they're handed their card with their name on it. So that card's already associated to them. So once jury's done and you know the amount, it gets uploaded and that card's loaded. We've offered to help. We offered to even take on some of the duties, and we can, but we just need cooperation and coordination, and that's where we always get pushed back on. And that's,
well, it seems to me that as soon as you tell them that their office is going to change their procedures without asking them if that's what they want to do or if that works for them. Because you just read your email. You told her that you made the decision that this is what they were going to do. This is how they were changing their office. in.
I said we weren't
your
writing
procedure.
checks anymore. So if we had, however we had it set up, we weren't gonna cut checks anymore. We were gonna use the prepaid cards.
So you're
that
telling
means-
her, she's changing her procedures in her office. She's changing her procedures in her office on a decision that you made that you could have, like she said, picked up a phone and said, hey, look, this is what we're looking at. Can we talk about this?
If we're not
That-
cutting checks, we could do the cards and no problem with that. I'm saying we're not gonna cut checks for it anymore, and that's our office procedures. So we're saying we're not gonna cut them for these small amounts. So we're doing the cards.
It's a force of control.
We can either
That's
go down there and do it for them.
Forcing her to change her procedures,
Well, I think
forcing her to change her
I think that's
procedures.
out of the issue now. I think we're to the point of,
I don't
Well,
think
it's
so.
a,
I
well,
don't
it
think-
sounds like you were given direction from the finance committee to
Mhm.
proceed. So
Yes.
April was given directives to proceed.
Right, it's not within the purview of this board to tell her how to run her office.
There's the issue.
that's exactly right. However, she's an elected official. She can do anything she wants. She can work with the program. She don't have to work with the program. She can check it out if she wants. She don't have to check it out. She's an elected official, period. There's no,
I have something to say, Mr.
all right, go ahead.
It seems to me that this could be easily compromised right now. Cheryl's not opposed to looking into the jury cards for the jury, but doesn't want to do restitution. I mean, the controller could say, okay, I'll go ahead and cut restitution checks, and she's gonna go ahead and look into juries. Why does it have to be a big thing at this point? Like I said, there's a compromise that could be made here.
Didn't have to be done this way to begin with.
Well, I'm just saying that, you know, rather than lament on what's been done
So
and
is that a-
everything else,
is-
move
is-
forward, make that
Okay,
compromise.
Is that a problem?
Be done.
What you just said?
No,
Okay.
the only reason I sent the restitution checks down there is because I said it was a way to actually utilize it and see how it was done. I didn't say we wouldn't cut them. I said, if you can do it, otherwise we'll print them on 9/6.
Okay, we'll do it. Well, that, whatever you said there, well, you'll do part of it and you'll send the information to you, right? Is that what you need, information from the clerk? Is that possible?
I will reach out to JIS and continue on. with
No,
my
no, I mean,
discussion.
is it possible
What's that?
to issue the little cards, to give through the information? Is that a problem?
I don't have any information to give her at this point.
No. Well, the
For
restitution
future,
check, we're talking about
No,
restitution
she
check.
has the vouchers for the restitution. To cut the checks like she always has.
No, we're not gonna cut checks. Send her the information on that so she can do the card. You don't have to do it, she'll do it. Is that a problem?
Don, it's no different than what I've always done. I create a voucher just like any other department. I send it up to the controller's office for a check to be cut. She has those vouchers for the restitution checks right
Okay,
now
so
in her
she can just
possession.
do the cards instead of the check, right?
If that's what she wants to do.
Okay, we're done here on
Then
that
let me
issue.
know what she paid them.
Okay, but you get there, she already, you can get the information, right? Or not?
Well, you need access?
I need to be able to download into the spreadsheet because that's what it does. That's what the system, and that's all
The
I'm
down
saying.
sheet, the spreadsheet is through that company.
The spreadsheet's to the company.
Correct.
But you download the information from GIS and it puts all the people's information right into it.
No.
Yes, that's what Rapid explains.
Well, you know what? Rapid is not my software, people. And again,
Okay,
this
that's
is the
enough.
problem. Not
Talk after the
speaking
meeting.
ahead.
Talk after the meeting.
It
Well,
doesn't
take
do
another
any
10
good.
10-minute break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You
I don't have to pee now.
All right.
Air conditioning.
I know. it's good.
You got water in your office?
Yes, sir.
Is
In the
the door open?
refrigerator. Yep. Should be.
Yeah.
Gary, we go from one extreme to another. Now it's Tahiti in here.
That allows it to work because he doesn't.
There it is.
No, I mean, it takes so much history. to find out. As I say, so it has to go through a little communication process. Say, this is how we got to where we're at, why are we there, and this is why. No, you're not doing that. And then they just come back and say, well, you didn't send us a receipt. Hey, well, okay, so it's on us, and so it worked, and so you're not paying 50/50. So the
What?
difference between your fault, that 50/50 charges and the excess that.
You know, we just wondered who to blame, and he just told me.
You know,
So they have
so
to
wipes it
accept
out.
the fact that email was valid.
Who's the recount? Who's having the recount, you know? You know who's having the recount?
Oh, yeah, all that stuff, you know, that's,
The treasurer with
it
Briley.
just like you say.
Treasurer
have
having it?
With
another-
Briley. When they
People
had that,
always
when
ask
those
her
people
to know what
had
kind
the
of
problem with
monies that
different
they
ballots.
Yeah.
It was from Briley.
Expended, you know, on other things, just like the difference of the food delivery program that where drivers made the decisions.
Sure, Ted.
From Atlanta, made.
Sure.
Hopefully that's what
Oh,
it
I'm
turns
happy
out.
as can be.
You know, that, you know, who's push and pull needs to really be looked at again. You know, to be able to say that, well, the guy that made the program, now he's gone. Well, maybe we really need to look at it again because the driver from Atlanta wasn't involved with the coordination of the program. But you bring it up too heavy, well, then the people over there, they come back on, well, why are you, you know? So then they catch hell. So then you're back to the same adversary situation. But just like that lady that got bit by the dog, well, you know, we really need to speak up to make sure that, well, she's all right. It's kind of following through with, you know, the medical health process, that she's not fighting that. True, you know, and she should.
Are you tired?
And that she has proper health insurance, that maybe that personal is taking care of it. And
Yard cleanup, yard cleanup.
no, because we don't know that, but it's their employee. There again, we're getting into something that we shouldn't. We just have to follow through. You know, kind of oversee everything, even, you know, say, oh, yeah, I don't know, works like it should. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Way better than. Well,
Well, it's just kind of like there's so many board members that quit. Because.
I understand when you got on your opinion.
And, much to do and my new gal have taken the position.
No, it's.
Fit the right one.
No.
Like come to another office, this year already had all this knowledge.
Oh.
I don't know
So
what
if you.
No, I never
I
said
make
it.
excuses.
Well, we never said.
How do you
It's not gonna happen.
grab the wall and start running, you know?
and it's gonna be harder now.
No, you got a little ball, you don't have a big ball.
So that was
I
my.
mean, I think everybody except.
Actually, I
don't.
I don't wanna throw anybody under the bus.
Man,
Just hanging
So then,
besides that, you should be getting.
Right, is that the only
It's the only finger it fits. It
Not a
won't.
bonus one.
I lose it off the little
And that's the
ones.
way it always
And
works.
all the others are too big, so and that one's getting kind of iffy. I don't know if I keep eating.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I think this is.
But I found it and I thought, you know, I paid a lot of money for that.
The
I
thing
can
of
buy
it
it
is,
myself.
when I moved on to such a.
So you're gonna utilize it.
I'm aware.
I see some.
And like
Car.
And having all that.
nine of
Enterprise is-
them.
Enterprise is.
Talking to yourself.
No.
Sure.
And I can't move the table where I was moving.
Oh, that's fine. It just seems like.
And there must have been way more chairs parked right there at some point.
Well, it's just 9 in your grade.
Or is it like? No, I mean to back it up. Because it does seem to be creeping close.
As I see
There's
it.
only one.
Oh, good.
Those decisions that you can-
It's a little thing.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, well,
What they want to do.
I glassed out, we went over to Chastity or Cassie.
Your other one on bottom car is the board.
Another one lives in Greeley.
Yeah.
One that's over by.
Then we can relate, we can just.
Down by Yale.
Yeah.
And she's got one of those
Yeah.
painter people by her.
I just think of it as you just have.
Bringing this to half, and we painted.
Yeah, it's almost like.
So we went and I can't.
Well, it's true.
I don't see
Whatever.
huge problems.
Kind of like as you.
This lady got us to paint these cows. Cows.
Problem down the road.
It was so nice. In my little cabin now. So here I am, 66 years old, and I never painted.
An artist and you didn't know it.
Right.
Yeah, big deal.
It's kind of like where, you know, this thing.
Ready? You guys ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Can we call the meeting back to order? I think what I've got out of both conversations here, that information goes from the clerk now to the controller, and she can take that information and do the cards. Is that right or wrong?
I need the information downloaded into the spreadsheet to scan into the cards.
Okay, that's the twist here.
Yes,
But she does send you something.
I get a printed report
Okay, so you can go off the report and make the cards.
No.
No, she needs access to.
because the scanner attaches to the spreadsheet. So you scan the card and it puts the number of the card, attaches to the spreadsheet, and then it uploads into the website. None of this has to happen overnight. It's just, we had the opportunity to learn on it, so we could try it. If it's not gonna happen right away, that's fine. I'm just saying, we had the availability with the people to try it out to see if it worked
Okay.
and get the cards to go.
Okay, is that a problem? It's a problem with you download what she wants downloaded, right?
I have not had that conversation with my software people.
Okay, well, that's
My only
good to know.
conversation was with the guy
Okay,
from
It's
Rapid.
a no, so we're going, however that works for you, let's get it done. That doesn't working for anyone right now, but we're moving on. I'm not dealing with that anymore. Anything else on that? What's going on?
I don't know, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right,
The back anniversary.
Yeah.
anything else?
Yeah, interesting report. MAC, so for the MAC 125th anniversary, received a framed copy of the Seals of Michigan Counties poster to hang up in the building. It's created to celebrate 125 years of Michigan Association of Counties. It's hanging up in the, behind the doors here. In your packet, you'll see that there's power line construction that's gonna be occurring. It's gonna begin this month from Atlanta to Onway. They're replacing the power transmission lines, so you're gonna see that being changed by Wolverine Power. Just a couple things that came in the mail. Albert Township's holding a stakeholder meeting on September 9th to get input on their master plan. The community is encouraged to attend. Reminder that local court management meeting is September 13th at 11 a.m. in Alpena. That is Lloyd and Gary. And then there's the MAC annual conference, September 24th to 26th at the Grand Traverse Resort.
I have a question. Do we have anybody signed up for that?
Annual conference. Not yet. I was considering signing up to go.
That would be good. I mean, I would be willing to go, but my short span left, I'm not sure how
So
much of a help that's gonna be. I mean, I could do it and give back a report, but I think somebody's going that will have, you know, the breadth of that information would be better. So if you're going, that would be okay. If somebody thinks I should go, I'm willing to do it. I just don't, I'm not sure how much. That's good for me.
the only other thing I'm gonna state, just because it's been brought up like a few times today, they keep getting the comment of 2.5 years, 2.5 years. Yes, my position was created 2.5 years ago, and since then, there's a lot of changes that have occurred. And I know that people who've been here for 20, 30 years aren't a fan of it. And I'm sorry, but that's not my fault that that change occurred. The board made that decision to make that change. Now, when it comes to just picking up the phone, no, because for 2.5 years, I haven't been treated the best here. So I do send emails rather than pick up a phone because yes, to protect myself, I want things in writing when I talk to have a conversation. So when I come back to it, it's there. I'm sorry, but for 2.5 years, it hasn't been rainbows and sunshine here. So I'm sorry, it isn't, because things change. The board wanted more oversight. They asked for more financial reviewing of things, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I was hired to do, and I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm sorry that it created a point of this contention because people lost the control of certain things. Well, I can't help that. That's what they wanted my position for. You have board members, Gary and Don, both created a position for a reason. You know, there was a need for it. I'm not trying to micromanage offices, but I don't get cooperation from certain offices. I can tell you the majority of these offices, I have no issues with anything. They come to me, I can get something right away. I go to them, they answer me right away. No problems. The problem is when I ask for something, I get treated like it's a big secret and I'm not allowed to have that information. I'm not trying to control it. I just need a report. Or when we got things on the meeting agendas and they're asking for money to take care of something and the board is asking 1,000 times, hey, have you reviewed that? Has it been given to you in paper? Have they put it in a proposal on paper so they can see it in writing? And no, that doesn't happen. There's the chain of command that they've asked where they send me something so I can do a financial review of it before it goes on the board. That doesn't occur. That's the reason why I don't just pick up the phone. Like I try to keep things in writing so that the board has the full picture of what's occurred. It's not just go spend money without the board knowing the full picture or getting a background. And I'm not going to apologize for that because in this 2.5 years, we've saved this county a lot of money doing a lot of big changes to contracts and reviewing vendors and reviewing things that are being purchased and all that. I won't apologize for that because that's taxpayer money. I live here as a taxpayer, so I care about that just as much as anybody else in this room. So I won't apologize for that. But I'm not trying to micromanage office. I got enough to do in my office. I'm trying to do my job and do the oversight of financials. And that's it. But it takes cooperation.
Email is valid communication. If there is a concern with an email, then either party can pick up the phone. It isn't a one-way street. Everybody has a phone in their office. So if you get an email that you don't understand, you can pick it up as well from any of the other offices.
Well, while we're on the subject, I would suggest you've done a number of things and saved the county money. That's not your only job, but you've done pretty well that in some respects. But your management style has alienated the majority of elected officials. And you could do some things to fix that, and to date, that hasn't happened. So I would suggest, that coming up with a better management style would behoove the entire county. And I would hope that happens. I guess we'll see.
My question to that though is most, nice, not all, but most of the elected officials are very unapproachable. You try to talk to them and they are not approachable.
I don't know. I approach them all the time and I talk to them all the time.
Well, you don't work here on a daily basis anymore.
Okay,
Not
that's enough.
anymore.
That's enough. I've heard enough for today on all that. I think I've read some of the emails and I think sometimes the email is taken out of context or as a demand or something. I'm not sure that's what it is, but on any event, we're moving on.
Well, taking offense is everyone's choice. If you choose to take offense, you can take it at anything. So everybody needs to be an adult in the room.
Okay, you done? Treasury report.
Okay, I guess good afternoon now. We're gonna start today with foreclosure and bankruptcy because there were some questions at the last board meeting and I was online, so I didn't hear everything, but I see in the minutes we have something about why a 9-year extension and why just cause hearing went forward. There was not a 9-year extension, just to be clear, and everyone is allowed to a show cause hearing. So upon the filing of a bankruptcy, it's a good time for a little education maybe. Upon the filing of a bankruptcy by a person owing back taxes, there is an automatic stay placed on the property. That's a federal law. All collection attempts and notices must stop. Once the bankruptcy is released, you can then proceed with collections again. This means that you have to give statutory notice. And like I said, all property owners have a right to a show cause hearing. If the owner fits the criteria for a hardship, there is really no reason they shouldn't be given that opportunity to retain their property. And if they follow their hardship agreement and do, everything that they said they would do,
there are further things that can happen. As usual, I come with receipts. You guys all got them. You were emailed the documentation concerning the bankruptcy that Mr. Lamore brought up at the last meeting. And you're free to look into the GPTA if, you know, you worry about the processing of the bankruptcy. But as with all foreclosures, the property was withheld with thoughtful consideration for both legal and constitutional matters, and that person's right to maintain their property. And like I said, you did get an email, you have all of my correspondence with the attorneys, you have the date that the bankruptcy was released, which wasn't until 2022. And you have his agreement. I didn't include payments or anything like that, but I can tell you right now, he did make all of the payments, etc. So there are certain things you have to do. It's not a matter of, hey, there's an eyesore down in downtown Atlanta and the treasurer didn't foreclose on them. No, she didn't, for legal reasons, you know, and many other items. So, like I said, there's a lot more to a bankruptcy and foreclosure than people realize. And like I said, the first thing that happens is everything stops. And until that's released, you don't move forward. And then the second thing that was brought up, dog tags, MCL 287276, which I also attached in your email, addresses the responsibility of the township supervisor and the township assessor in providing the county treasurer with a report of unlicensed dogs. Specifically, that says the supervisor of each township and the assessor of every city annually, on taking his assessment of property as required by law, may make diligent inquiry as to the number of dogs owned, harbored, or kept by all person in his assessing district, and on or before June 1st, make a complete report to the county treasurer. Now it goes on to tell on what form, and that the county can have a animal control officer if they choose to appoint, etc. Then it says 277 says the county treasurer may, based on records of the dogs actually licensed, complete a report, identify and locate the unlicensed dogs and give that to the prosecuting attorney. Like I said, that is the main thing. And, you know, I think our county treasurer has a lot more to do, you know, than go around looking for unlicensed dogs. And personally, I feel it's an overreach of governments anyway. So next we have the FGU annual sales report, which is this little report that's from our auction. FGU, foreclosing governmental unit. So that's from the 2024 auction, and it resulted in an unusually large net amount. That's because of, even though there were only 7 parcels, there were 3 that were very large. 2 70 and 79 and 80, I think, acre parcels and 1 40 acre. But you want to keep in mind that the former owners still have 2 years to sue the county. It used to be 4, now it's 2. But they do still have 2 years, so you don't really want to be accessing that money. The resolution recently signed by the board requires a process to be completed in July of 2025 before any of these funds can be accessed. So just a reminder on that.
And you know the funding amount, you know the amounts of that funding.
Correct. Village money, disbursements from the townships collecting summer taxes are coming in and being added to county funds. That's just something else going on in the office right now. And the second set of delinquent bills for the year are processed and will go out on the 9th. That's it.
Thank you.
It was a Labor Day weekend. It was a busy weekend. However, fortunately, there was no significant issues. So it was a good, safe holiday weekend around the county. Current inmate count is 10 at Alpena. As I stated previously, the undersheriff and I did go over there. And we try to do it at least quarterly to visit with them. That's essentially the report. I just want to piggyback on, obviously, there's a huge topic today, what the clerk was saying, what the controller was saying. There's definitely a struggle in communication. And there's no doubt about that. And if there's always 2 sides to every story, and there's perspective on everything. Commissioner Hardy said we have to be adult about it, and I agree 100%. But there's decisions that are made, and there are decisions made by the board that, and I told the chairman this, that it feels like the weight of opinion or the weight of input is significantly less on those that have been and do the work versus recommendations from the controller's office. That's my opinion. I'm just telling you, that's how that feels. And I told that to the chairman. To say something as change, people don't like change. I can tell you, whether it be the clerk's office or district court or probate, trust me, change is the norm around here. In government, in law enforcement, in courts, we've dealt with nothing but change literally every single year. So the change portion, whether it be operations or the way we do things, change is inevitable in this line of work and not opposed to it. How that's facilitated is a difference. We talked about just, and I'm not gonna, I know, Chairman, but we got a 15-year employee basically put on notice that unless he does X, Y, and Z, he potentially has the opportunity of whatever that means if we were to go down a different avenue. Well, what I am gonna suggest, I'm not, so I'm gonna suggest, I guess, you have a 2-year employee that they're still, we review our employees every year. Have you ever reviewed yours? And I think it's time that that happened. I'm sorry, not to show the show the validity of the position. We're doing a fantastic job. Or if there's areas that we need to improve on, or maybe there's avenues to streamline or make that a better working relationship, those would be recognized. And Commissioner Hardis, you and I had this discussion in our office about reviews. And I think it's overdue. We review our employees every year, annually. That's the norm. And I don't see why any other position should be any other different.
Anything else, sir?
No, that's it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, next, standing committees. Bill, you got anything?
I got a couple. DHHS, the Department of Health and Human Services, got conference. Their conference is the 16th and 18th, so we need some info coming back on that. One thing they asked was about upping their budget for reimbursing for conference and lodging. So the board may wish to consider that.
Who's that? Talking about now.
The Department of Health and Human Services. When they send people to these conferences, they're out of money in that.
Yeah, we don't give them a lot. You're talking about the ones that represent, it's an odd thing, they represent the people.
Right.
And they attend health meetings that we pay for them. And then we may or may not give them enough money to go to conferences, right?
Right, exactly. I told them what our budget functions would be, and I don't know what they're expecting, but I'm just telling you, they don't have enough to cover these conferences and trainings. And they'd like us to consider a little bit more in that regard. They filled one of their child protective services positions. Yay. They're still short from a youth person over there, and hopefully they can get that filled. Scholarships, let's say. There's a scholarship went to Courtney Winter of Alpena for the Social Worker of the Year. She got a scholarship to get some more education on that. I think that's it for Department of Health and Human Services. The Michigan Association of Counties. We went over a bunch of stuff in the regarding the legal things that are going on in Lansing, and I would encourage you to read your reports that come in the email, because there's a ton of information in there. I'm not going to try to go over all of the bills and everything that they covered, but we talked about the opioid settlement funds and how that was going, and that those are wrapping up and Oh, the other thing is they're still looking for a replacement for John Amorine. They need to have a master's degree in order to get it, so it's not just for anybody. But if you know somebody that has a master's degree in government or in those sorts of areas, they're looking for qualified candidates. And Michigan Works. Let's see. I've lost my notes on that. We spent a lot of money and there's 28 programs that they are operating right now. The vast majority of that money comes from federal monies and the state. Most of the balance comes from the state. They have a little bit from other areas, but most all of it comes from state and federal monies. Again, if you know of businesses or that are looking for employees, or if you know employees that are looking for work, this is the place to go. They have all sorts of programs to help those two things to come together, including training and including taking down roadblocks for workers that can't seem to manage to get to work or find housing or whatever it is that's keeping them from keeping a regular job. They have monies available to do something about that. If you have a flat tire or your car quit, you can't get to work, you can talk to those people and they very well may be able to help you do that. I guess that's about it for me. Gary?
Well, I had a finance meeting, which I've already discussed at length at the beginning of our meeting here. We had a landfill meeting, but to be perfectly truthful, I don't remember even talking about anything. So it must have been a short meeting.
It wasn't fairly short, just regular business, wasn't.
Yeah, we're
Well, we got-
nothing. That was it for me.
I believe I had an ARPA meeting. No, not a call meeting a week or so ago. I think that might have been a regular. I don't know, I'm losing track. Been so many meetings, but anyway, that's pretty much it for today.
Did you have landfill too, Don?
Yeah,
I was at
finance too.
landfill too.
So McCullough claims and landfill?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I had Health Department number 4. I'm going to let Commissioner Hardy's cover that. And I had my Thunder Bay Transportation Authority board meeting. When we first started the meeting, we did not have a forum. We were halfway through the meeting when a 5th person showed up, and we were the 3 topics that we touched on: building update, all of the improvements that we need done to that building. Still waiting for MDOT to approve all of the contracts that.
You talking the one uptown there, right?
Yeah.
What
In Alpena.
Oh, in Alpena, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
Thunder Bay Transportation.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's quite a few things that are wrong with that building. One, biggest one is the roof. And it doesn't look like it's gonna get fixed before winter. So that's a problem. Second thing is the millage, through some very, very creative wording. The millage got reinstated. They got even though it lapsed out and they didn't renew it in time. some very creative wording, got back on the ballot, and it was passed. Yay. That was a big one. And then before the board meeting, we had 5 used vehicles that we needed to get rid of. 4 of them were sold prior to the meeting. And in the middle of the meeting, the 5th one sold. So all of the old buses are gone. And now we're in the process of getting all the new ones out on the road. We had one that had to go back, have some wiring or something redone to it. That's being worked on right now. So as soon as that's done, we'll have that back and we'll be off and running. That's all I have.
Thank you.
And I had the health department for, and they're in the process of changing their fiscal year to match the states at this point. So we're gonna have a short year. They're gonna end it on 9/30 to get in cycle to be with the states this next year. So it'll look a little odd going forward until that cycle completes. And other than that, they discussed the cybersecurity issues again, making sure that everything is secure with the software and the computers against ransom and all of whatever new scam is out there at the moment. And we updated policies. And we discussed the joint relationship between Alpena and the DHD4, and it looks like that's, totally going to be cut. We created a DHD4 bank account. And that's the main change there. We also discussed, we do have a opioid proposal that we're going to look at, but Dr. Beatty is going to come in soon in one of our next meetings to discuss that. Okay. So then we will be updated on that.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we're down to public comment. Anyone? Yes.
I realized I didn't finish part of my report on the dog licensing. So I just wanted to add that for the record, the townships also sell dog licenses. For instance, Albert sold 50 last year. Raleigh Township sold 1. So, glass houses and all.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah, it goes to them first and then it may go to you, but they.
They have the ability to sell dog licenses.
Well, I think it's
in
part of the
township
statute, I
offices.
believe.
It is. Yeah.
Anyway, anything else? No.
No.
Anyone else want? Yes, ma'am.
I would just
Your
like
name,
to say,
please?
Judy, Judi, Rappuhn, that many changes are coming. Commend everybody in their positions. In my career, I've worked for 3 different counties. It's not easy. And when changes come to look at accountability, transparency is the new N word. As taxpayers, we want to know where our money is going. And I think Board of Commissioners here has put some programs into place to be able to speak to their county taxpayers as to what they are doing with the money and where it is going. And it is not an easy position to be in. I've been there, where you have to implement new programs, enter data beyond belief. And I was in on groundbreaking computer data entry when it was green dots and green letters. And people do feel alienated, but it's not that you're alienated. Sometimes they're alienating themselves by not stepping into it. But I commend everybody who's trying. But hopefully these meetings will become more cooperative and less lengthy.
Thank you.
I got something I'd like to say.
Okay.
Before you close the meeting out. I don't like all of the April bashing that's been going on. And I will say, April, thank you very much for a wonderful job. I appreciate all the hard work you put into this job. I appreciate all of the money that you have saved this county. And I will stand by all of your recommendations, and I will stand by you 100%. Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes.
Cheryl?
I guess, the important thing I think out of today, again, is that, you know, I get the desire to, by boards to have a controller and administrator. I see the, you know, need for that as well. And, change does happen, like Chad said, we deal with change all the time. Especially elections right now, for me, has just been a ton of change in the last couple of years. But I've also been voted in by the people again of this county to be the county clerk and to run my office. And I think it's very important that if procedures are gonna be changed, that the department heads have a say in what's gonna occur in their office.
Give me a clip.
That's all I'm asking, an opportunity to come in and discuss things that may want to get changed. And I don't feel that that happened. I was basically told that this is what's gonna happen. I don't always appreciate the fact that, I'm not gonna say that. Anyways, I think that there needs to be some changes made, absolutely. I've been saying that now for a number of years, as well as other elected officials. And how we go about doing that, I'm open to some suggestions because something needs to change and conversations need to happen ahead of time, not after the fact.
Anything else, Cheryl?
Thank you.
I guess I read some of the emails. I didn't take that you will do this. But that you can take those emails any way you want. Having said that, we're going to adjourn the meeting at this time.
No, you didn't.
You can do ARPA meeting?
Huh?
Yeah, ARPA meeting.